into office with a polished smile, but behind closed doors it was darker by a mile. A bully in the workplace fueled by control, tearing down spirits, breaking every soul. Jeff German saw the cracks in his facade, stories of abuse, the power used as a rod. The pen struck the paper, truth on the page, but the ink lit a fire, unleashing his rage. The darkness will rise. Jeff's light extinguished, the world cries. The articles piled up, the truth was laid bare. The public saw the man, his mask stripped of care. But instead of reflection, remorse, or retreat, he planned out an act, cold and discreet. One September day the line was crossed. A man of the pen, his life was lost. A crime born of anger, cowardice, and spite. A senseless end to a journalist's fight. Shadows, truth and lies. A journalist's work, no alibis. When power's unchecked, the darkness will rise. Jeff's light extinguished, the world cries. The gavel will fall, the story won't fade. A man in chains for the choice he made. But justice alone can't fill the void. A voice silenced, a life destroyed. Shine brighter every day. So remember the cost when power corrupts, and the courage it takes to stand up. For those who uncover what's hidden away, may their truth shine brighter every day.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Dusty Dave. If you know, you know. And welcome to the show. We've got quite, oh good lord, like quite a show tonight. Like this is one of my all-time favorites, but we'll get into it. Let me just my co-host and producer who's off camera right now, but you'll be seeing her in a second. Krista.
Hi, I'm here.
So a few things to address. We just got monetized. Hooray. If you want to like do super chats or whatever, you can. I'm not going to monetize the videos because I still don't like commercials. So, do whatever with that. Second, I want to thank Ryan for this copy of The Shadow, 1994 classic, Alec Baldwin movie, The Shadow. On Laserdisc. I got to find a Laserdisc player because my only other Laserdiscs are Steven Seagal movies. I'm not going to get a disc player for a Steven Seagal movie.
Not worth it.
So I'll be headed to a Goodwill near me soon. So Super Kelly says that this case got you into true crime. That is crazy.
Wow.
I guess, we'll have to have, that breaking point where you finally just admit to yourself that we all like true crime. So welcome to it. Yeah, this one is crazy. So just to unpack this case a little bit, because some people only get true crime from this channel because they're not usually out to get it themselves. So Robert Telles was some elected, I don't care what he was, so don't bust my chops about that. He was some elected official in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And, oh, God, it's so insane. He was just a shitty boss. He was a terrible dude, and everybody hated him. So when he ran for re-election, he lost by a landslide. And a couple of things are going on concurrently. He was cheating on his wife. Happy Hanukkah, Tanika. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Friday. And it is Hanukkah.
It is. That's true.
I read that. I thought, well, I've been reading Happy Hanukkah so much this week. Sorry about that. But yeah, so Jeff German was this reporter who was writing article after article, 4 or 5 articles were written on Robert Telles because, he was super corrupt and there was financial stuff going on. It'll all come out in the cross-examination. But moral of the story is Robert here took his own very recognizable car, a maroon Cadillac Escalade,
nice,
to Jeff German's house, wore one of those big landscaper's hats and an orange shirt and basically dressed like, a landscaper.
In a nice ass car.
Yeah. Rolls up, and there's Ring cameras all over the place. We'll get into it. But he rolls up and stabs Jeff to death in the side of his yard.
Oh.
Brutal stuff. And then, just drives away. So after they collect all the footage and stuff, moral of the story is he did it. And this is the cross-examination. If you want to watch his direct, I don't recommend it because it's obnoxious because he did, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he went up and did a narrative testimony where he got up and just told the story of his life and how we all got here. And it was pure bullshit. And that's why it's not super fun to watch.
Right.
So what we have here is the raw footage we're not going to watch all of. There's no freaking way. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Woof.
So, and toward the end, it sort of circles the drain. He probably should have ended it at the 90-minute mark. Keep it tight because I feel like we were covering the same shit at the end. But we'll get as far as we get.
Yeah. Jameson says, like that bonehead who drove his kit car to the TCAP sting house.
Oh, yeah. A classic.
Ryan says, reminds me of the guy who killed that Chinese geek at the University of Illinois. He got caught because of his unique model of Saturn he drove. Oh,
yes.
What's his name?
Brendan Christensen.
Yeah.
What
and
crap? I can't. We did it.
It was that
channel.
Asian girl and
what a, and that we covered that already, but yeah, that was a little bit. I mean, but there were cars involved, but Robert here had an axe to grind against Jeff German. So let me pull that over really quick. So you can see Chris there up in the corner.
Hi.
Yeah, this was just straight up premeditated murder. There's no way around it. He was pissed about, because he uncovered the fact that he had a mistress, rather. A lot of stuff came out. And then, we'll get into it too. The prosecutor really wants to sort of rub it in his face because I think he lost by a landslide. There were 3 people running and he was a distant third.
Oh.
Yeah, the exchange student. Yeah, I think he reminds me more of why does everybody's name escape me? The Canadian guy, Mark Twitchell.
Oh yeah,
Mark Twitchell and Brendan Christensen remind me of each other. They're both I don't know, pasty, obnoxious, weird-looking dudes. So let's just go ahead and get this rolling. So this is basically, okay, so the raw footage, or the raw video rather, we're watching from the Law and Crime channel here. So check them out. But we're going to dive right in. So if you're at all confused about the details of this case, I already gave you the finer, the broad strokes. But this guy is going to come in and just pound him on a lot of the details. Some of it will circle, but, here we go. Oh, my God. Are you serious? Time out, people.
Redo.
Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, my computer. Hold on. Please hold.
Please hold.
This will take a minute. So you probably want
Vamp.
to vamp.
So, how was everybody's holiday in the chat? Did you all enjoy your holiday a couple days ago?
Oh, yeah. So Super Kelly says the prosecutor had all the sass. And yeah, he does. There are so many good prosecutors out there that really give the really, I'm trying to think of, because I can't remember names. I'm really terrible at that. But the lady who killed basically half of her family with antifreeze, there was 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I think this one was the nurse. And he goes insane. He's like, my God, what, and he's screaming. And I can't believe no one is objecting to anything. It's crazy.
Wow. That guy's head. Baldy.
Yeah, he's got a huge head, and he's so narcissistic. It's kind of just he's a very a kissing cousin to Nancy Brophey. When you can when the question is yes or no, it's always that middle third option that everybody always takes when they're on the stand.
Yeah.
Where and that, he does it so much in this. It's so funny. He goes, listen to my question, sir. Listen to my question. He's like, now address the question. 'Cause sometimes you'll just let him go off on little tangents or whatever. Address the question. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties abound.
The way his head is shaped, it's like he's wearing a bald cap over a thick head of hair.
I know, right? He's like an early prototype version of the Coneheads. This was the makeup test to be sure they could blend it all at the bottom really good before they start moving up the cone, as it were. Okay, we're here.
Oh, yes, the queen of caveats, Tanika. Yes, Nancy Brophy.
Caveat.
With a caveat.
With a caveat. Of course. Go ahead. All right, here we go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. And it's Mr. Telles, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to start first with see if we can agree on a couple of things, okay?
Would it be fair to say?
Testimony, I'm going to publish States 311. I was listening to your testimony, and if I heard you correctly, many times during your direct.
That's him. So that's the outfit he wore, right? He wore this big old dumb hat, and whatever you can it just screams racist to me, even though he is of Hispanic origin. It does feel like this is the Hispanic version of the white, what I always talk about. You can go into any building if you hold a clipboard and wear a reflective vest.
Right.
This is just that a different cultural flavor of that.
Yeah.
But the thing about this is you would never see a dude working and have shit this fresh. He's not near a car. You don't hear a mower anywhere. Right. He's sticking out like a sore thumb, because if he were next to a throttling weed eater or something, he had some shears in his hand, no one would care. But there's no gear. There's no truck parked nearby. Worst plan ever.
Whoa.
Is it going to make a noise? There you go. First super chat. Love the Christican. The shoe fell off. Bowling Gate 2024. Also wrong.
Bowling Gate. Thanks.
Or during your direct.
Yeah, it's Brandon from the island of Dr. Moreau. Exactly.
Is the killer of Mr. Gammon, correct?
I didn't necessarily, but I'm sure it is.
I mean, if I heard you correctly, you kept saying, looking at the killer, this guy. I know that you're not saying that's me, but you don't doubt that whoever that is killed Mr. Gammon.
Which is you.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. Hold on. I want to mess with the volume a little bit, because it feels like this should be louder. Oh, there you go. Stupid. Talking about myself. Don't worry about it, guys. Going back at it.
He's got a before head,
You had
during head, and
mentioned-
after head.
One of the things that struck you was you watched the autopsy, or you saw the autopsy photos, and you were struck by the violence of it.
Did he
correct?
watch the
No, sir.
autopsy, or did he just see the photos of the autopsy?
No, he didn't obviously watch the autopsy. He's been in jail for fucking 3 years. But when he saw the photos, that's what he's talking. Like, no, like they didn't have a field trip. This isn't like a like
Let's
they
go
didn't
watch
have
an
Miss
autopsy.
Frizzle as a judge. They're like, come on, kids, let's jump inside a cadaver today.
Attorney looks
No, you
kind of
did
like
not.
Paul Rubens.
Little bit.
Were you bothered by the photographs?
I was.
Why is that?
Totally. So violent.
Gruesome. I'm not used to seeing dead people.
Okay.
Especially the ones I killed. And remember, like, it was in the teens. They'll probably say it, but he stabbed him so many times. Like, this was... Okay, so you know how if you're into true crime, you're probably familiar with the concept of like the journalist or the attorney or the whatever, like being a target of retaliation or something. And like, at least to me, I always associate it with something bigger than like a local councilman or whatever the fuck Robert Telles was. Like, people write stories about like CJ&G and like, you know, the mafia and all these other things. And you know, attorneys, prosecutors, judges, reporters getting slain all over the world for the integrity of their craft. And Jeff German went down because Robert Telles like just was like a shitty councilman and was cheating on his wife. And then he thinks, this is part of it too. He was looking into this real estate company that might have been doing these shady deals. And they are the ones who hatched this conspiracy to plant evidence on him, but only certain types of evidence. We'll get into it, but it's very conspiracy laden. Like, it's in whatever.
I think you said it was ugly. Is that correct?
I may have.
I may have. It was like just a little while ago.
And you had told this jury that you felt like it looked like someone who knew what they were doing. Is that right?
Yes.
That's another angle. Because of the conspiracy, this was a hired hitman who walked down the street in bright orange and a flying saucer style hat and brutally murdered the guy in his front yard and then drove his car past his house where he was caught on multiple ring cameras. Primo professional job. I'd pay upwards of $10,000 for that.
Yes, sir.
You believe this was a professional hit?
Do you have any reason to believe that?
That's what I believe.
Okay. And you believe this killer is kind of almost like someone hired to do this job, like an assassin, essentially, right?
That is what I believe, yes, sir.
All right.
This feels a little bit like when they were consulting Ted Bundy on like murder cases.
Oh.
When like, because, or like when he would talk about himself in the third person, like he would try to blow himself via his crimes to be like, oh, this guy, like, this killer's really smart. And like, that's what it feels like Robert's doing here. Like he's looking at his own sloppy ass handiwork and being like, oh God, professional as hell. That must have been a professional ass killer. So even like in a perverse way, if it is found out that was him, he's got that built in where it's like, whoa, that was professional as hell, Robert. How did you do that? You're a simple councilman or whatever.
Right. Tannicus says, why would a hired hitman exact such a personal attack?
Right.
Too many stab wounds for the assailant not to know this
Right.
victim.
It's called overkill. If you don't know the person, you run past their house in a jogging shoot and you shoot them twice.
Yeah.
Or you do something that doesn't like make you drenched in the other person's bodily fluids at the very least.
Now, I want to take a look at this picture for a second.
It's been a hit with the ladies too, for sure. Didn't we find these gray Nikes in your house under your couch? Oh, we'll get to that.
The assassin seems to be wearing a giant sun hat.
Appears.
It's a pretty big hat, right?
It's a huge hat.
Fairly noticeable, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
It's like a
Blocks the sun.
$36 hat at Walmart. I mean, I don't know.
You think that might attract attention?
I would think so.
Okay, but this is a professional.
Right.
Right.
And this professional is also wearing a bright orange shirt, correct?
Yes, sir.
Professional?
Yes, sir.
Professional
Would that attract
landscaper.
attention?
I think that's part of the reason, actually. If I could elaborate.
No. You
Oh, please.
believe that professional assassins want to draw attention to themselves when they're carrying out murder. That's your testimony?
When they're framing someone, yes, sir.
So the answer to
There
my
we
question is yes. You believe professional assassins like to draw attention to themselves.
It depends on what the nature of their goal is, and if it's to frame someone, yes, sir.
So the answer to my question is yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Your professional assassin is wearing a big saddlebag, right?
It's a big bag.
Right.
Right.
It's because he was about to say it was the bag. Like he knew what bag it
Yeah,
was.
it
was
had my
him.
gun in it.
Like this is
Or knife or whatever.
that moment sort of conjured up Chandler Halderson to my mind for some reason.
He's wearing Nikes, correct?
Correct?
Not generic.
just wanted to do it, you would
is that
say?
Right?
Right.
Okay. Gray Nikes, is that right?
Correct.
Gray as hell, Your Honor.
Let's cue over to the overhead.
Oh, let's.
could?
Some
Or
of the
to the
things that
computer?
AV Club.
Robert says and the way he says it reminds me of Shonda.
Yeah, same thing. Like the entitlement, the narcissism. Like he's that whatever type alpha personality or whatever. Like anecdotally, he came into his office and basically ruined everybody's lives he worked with, and he was a tyrant. So. There was nothing about him that was ever good, but like with politics, as long as and that's the thing. I feel like the first time he got in, it was just barely, because I mean, look at him.
Right.
Most people vote on how the person looks in the promo photos.
Yeah.
And you look at Robert Telles and you go,
I don't know about that.
If we could.
a European bag. It looks like a Gucci. This is the top of this assassin.
That was fancy.
Spending all his money. Giant. That's the most expensive sun hat I've ever seen, Your Honor.
Look at the car he drove. It's
Playing
mine.
It's the cleanest, best sun hat.
PIO video from Exhibit 338. So this is your assassin walking in the middle of the day, correct?
I think it's so hilarious that in every professional and legal and or governmental setting, they're using the bare bones ass, this is VLC player.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
That's the one
My
with the
assassin?
traffic cone, right?
This is the assassin, the killer.
Anyone see the
correct?
video of him being
Yes, sir.
arrested by DV yelling, "You want
Seems
to
a
take me
little bit-
down?"
No, I haven't seen that, but yeah, who?
The hitch in his getup.
It's got a hitch in
Yes.
his get up.
I don't know.
Oh, there's his
An
car.
opinion?
And you don't
Oh, it's a
disagree
Denali,
that's
not a
the,
Cadillac,
that's,
sorry.
You've seen all the footage. That's the killer's car, right?
Yes, sir.
It's a maroon Denali. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
You own a maroon Denali, isn't that correct?
I do, sir. Yes, sir.
This is custom made,
point.
right?
Let's look at it.
You got rims on that Denali?
So there's no doubt that the killer took a maroon Yukon Denali to Garriman's house to perform, as you have explained to us, to be some sort of professional hit.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I love how he keeps leaning into it, because what you are telling me is this is it, because that's the thing. I like when this is the only situation where this can happen, because you know that Robert always had power and money and whatever to make everybody's life around him miserable and got no backlash or recompense or anything. So when someone like this gets to, I mean, not gets to, we get to, but he has to sit there and just take it because he knows. I mean, because in his mind, he's probably screaming like he wants to burst a jugular vein, like his latte showed up cold. But he's got to obfuscate and step around and answer yes or no questions with 3 paragraphs.
Right.
So I'd like to publish the PowerPoint, if we could. It's still from Exhibit 338, Your Honor. But it is the PowerPoint video. And I want to turn our attention to slide number 72. This is after Mr. Garriman has been killed, but if we watch this footage, Isn't it true that we see the killer come back to the scene?
Yes.
And the killer seems to be looking around as if he forgot something, right?
I've watched the video. I don't know what he's doing.
We don't know.
Right.
But we know a professional killer killed someone in broad daylight.
Professional as
made it a
hell.
point to park on a completely different street, but then for some reason decided, oops, I forgot something, and drove all the way back.
My belief is that he wanted to make sure to commit the crime, and then when he was done, he wanted to make sure the SUV was seen in front of the house.
So let me get this straight.
Professional. That's what professionals do. They get
We've
caught.
watched the footage, right, Mr. Telles?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that the Yukon parks on Wintergreen initially?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the streets, but I mean, if you say so, yes.
We'll put it to you this way. He didn't park on Bronze Circle, did he?
Not initially, no.
And by your logic,
That is so Shonda. Like, I didn't see the name of the street, but I'll take your word for it.
Right.
Like,
If that's what it says.
what is that honest question to everybody? Run this thought experiment in mind. What does that do? Like when someone is in this situation and instead of just having to say yes or no, like because you're so desperate to concede zero ground or as little as possible, as you're vomiting this word salad, and then you have to be reminded where we are in time and what the task is. Like, but you know, I guess it all just boils down to like the stone wall between them and reality.
Right. Yeah.
But it's so that's what keeps me coming back to all these things, because I cannot imagine myself in this situation because I have only one point of view. But like, if I were getting hammered like this, I don't know if I would have, like, number one, the energy to, because you know you're there until the prosecution is done with you.
Yeah.
So to like toss up a word salad for every question is just like so mentally taxing. It's frustrating, man.
if the killer wanted to be seen, shouldn't he have just parked on Bronze Circle originally?
I would have.
I think you're probably, you and me, Tanika, the lack of self-awareness. There's just like they built a wall between themselves and reality. And via, political power or money or whatever, you can get people to kiss your ass and be yes men, and they're just adding mortar to the already sturdy foundation.
Yeah.
Would have thought that if he wanted to make sure he got the job done first, that he would not have actually parked the SUV in front to begin with.
Oh, so
that's my belief, because
okay.
again, that isn't
Regular
me.
Matlock.
you have
Look
a
at him
killer
leaning
who
back
goes
in his
all the way
chair
out of
like,
his way to
this is
park
what
on a
I
completely
think.
different street, walks the whole length, does the killing, drives out of the complex, and then makes a U-turn, comes all the way back into the complex, pulls up, gets out, looks around for something, and you believe that's all part of the assassin's plan?
And again, I don't know what he's doing in that video.
No, I'm just using your words.
No,
your
because
that
thought
wasn't me.
process.
Absolutely.
You believe that was all part of the plan.
I do. It wasn't me. So
Sir, doesn't that look a little amateurish?
Yeah, it looks, it was definitely a part of the plan because it wasn't me. So, so what, Mr. Telles, Mr. Tejas? It looks, I don't know what he's doing. It wasn't me. So, ergo, classic logical chain.
Find him and ask him.
I would like to think that I wouldn't use my own car
He did
if I was
his
actually the.
direct testimony for 5 hours. He loves the sound of his voice. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like eating his cake after whatever, having his cake and eating it and all this other stupid shit. Because he gets up there and gets to do his narrative, then yeah, that doesn't come across as taxing, or it shouldn't at least. Because if you're like me or like Robert and you just love the sound of your own voice and you're a narcissist like him, 5 hours talking about yourself or whatever you like, it's like water off a duck's back.
Right.
Like, that's the best thing in a narcissist's mind, is like sucking their own dick, because it like recharges their own battery so it can go on forever. That is a completely different situation when not only are you not allowed to talk about how great you are, but you have to answer questions about the reality of the fact that you suck hardcore.
Right.
So, and that is going to be stressful, like physically, but also you're going to be having to burn a lot of calories to try and rework everything that you know to be true that's being said in open court and spit it back out as some sort of
Yeah.
like insane tale.
Right. Why did he concede the assassin was a he? He can't help himself. We see you laughing up your sleeve. Sure.
Yeah, like, but then like that was definitely a dude. Like, pfft, it was him.
Actually, the person who did this.
Well,
so,
Well, doesn't it look a little amateurish to take the steps to park on the side of the street, then you forget what you dropped, probably your murder weapon, who knows?
Probably the murder weapon. Who knows? Probably your murder weapon. Who knows? But like, oh my God. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Wear this goofy sun hat, a bright orange shirt.
Oh, that's why I stopped in the first place. That like it's like this prosecuting attorney not only wants to destroy Robert as a person, he also wants to like kick his fictional super competent assassin character in the dick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree with me, sir, that this was all very stupid? Like, he's not only attacking you as a person, he's attacking your fanfic. This is like posting something to LiveJournal and having every mean girl in your class come and shit on it.
Right.
Shirt. I mean, you really think that looks like a professional killer?
I do.
I do.
Again,
I have
it wasn't
to.
me, so
Okay.
yes.
I do, and it wasn't me. So, there he goes again.
Yep.
A needle pulling thread, Robert.
All right, sir. And when you looked at the car, you thought, gosh, that looks just like my vehicle.
Golly
right?
gee.
Except for the rims, yes, sir.
Sure, we'll get to the rims in a
We'll
second.
get there.
In fact, let's talk about that right now.
Yes, sir.
We'll get to it now.
Here's a receipt for 4 new rims.
Let's go to slide 40.
Stuff like that is so subtle, but like when you're so confident in what you're doing that you're willing to just like make mouth noises like you would like you were waiting in an elevator with a friend.
Right.
So it speaks to a confidence that you can't really express any other way.
One.
Give a good stretch.
Slide 40. All right. So,
Who does that look like, Robert?
see that picture right here of the rims?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sir, do you see, if we're talking like clock positions, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, you know what I'm talking about? If I'm referring to that?
The 12 o'clock is north.
Yes. So 12 o'clock is
Or up.
totally to the top.
What were you looking
Up.
at?
Great one, Robert. Fucking fumbled that one. 12 o'clock is north? Do you think every clock points north, Robert? Pff, pretty stupid. It's a pretty dumb assassin move, if you ask me.
And then you've got 6 o'clock is to the bottom. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So look at this bottom right-hand picture. Isn't it true that when you look at the front wheel, the spokes on this wheel are not all the same size, correct?
Right.
They alternate in thickness, correct?
Correct.
At the 12 o'clock
Thanks,
position,
Mr. J.
it's a narrow spoke,
north?
right?
Yes, sir.
He talks about the spokes for a long time, and then, like, spoiler alert, I feel like Robert got, like, a text or something from someone, and like, oh, it looks like your car, but the rims are different, and that's the only thing he has, like, standing on at the end of it?
Yeah.
Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it totals
6 spokes?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different spokes. Isn't that right?
3 of each size.
Yes, sir.
And just to be clear, whenever you look at one spoke, let's say the 12 o'clock position, when you look at the opposite position, it's the thicker one, right?
Yes, sir.
And so if
Totally.
you look at a smaller one, if you look the opposite direction, it's going to be thicker, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that, when we look at the picture of this widened spoke on the killer's car, you see that on this wheel on the front, and you see it on the back wheel. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is the part of court that I would just, like, it's why I never get picked to be on the jury. My eyes would roll, and I would be like, oh, come on, like, we get it, spokes.
Publishing 322. We could cue over. That's your car, isn't it?
I'll be damned.
Yes, sir.
There's no doubt about it, is it?
No, I don't believe so.
That is the car
I
that
have very little doubt that that is my car.
you don't normally drive. Isn't that right? Because you drive a BMW.
Right. I drive it occasionally to make sure that the battery doesn't die.
Right. Let's
Must be nice to have a luxury car that you have to drive around to make sure the battery doesn't die because you're in your other luxury car.
look at your wheels. Because your testimony was, my rims are different. Let's look, no, sir, question pending. Let's look at the front tire.
If that would be the catchphrase of this video, no question pending. Every time he tries to talk and he wants to shut him up, he's like, sure, there is no question pending. Sir, no question pending.
You see the front tire?
Show, Ryan, or the fan.
The one closest to the 12 o'clock position is thick. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
The one directly opposite that, closest to the 6 o'clock position, is narrow. Isn't that right?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just like the car in the video. Isn't that correct?
It has the same type of rims, yes.
It does. But that's not what you just told that jury on direct examination. You said you looked at a tweet from General Bob.
That's what I thought it was a tweet, but I didn't want to feel, rather I didn't want to say something because like that feels stupid. I was hoping it was a text since my memory was foggy because you would like take a text more seriously than a tweet. Probably a tweet. But nope, there he is. General Bob Custer's tweeting out different rims. Robert, you're in the clear.
Custer, and you felt, oh gosh, my rims are different. Remember you told them that?
Yes,
You
because
relied on some person in the Twitterverse,
Yes, because-
in General Bob Custer, to give you peace of mind about whether or not your car matches
Billy
the killer's
Corgan.
car.
yes,
So now looking at your
A little bit. He's like, so for those not in the know, like maybe Christy, you don't know, Billy Corgan is the leader of the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, okay.
Lead
I just
singer.
didn't know his name. Okay.
Yeah. So that it looks like his like uncle though.
Yeah.
Like not a super close, but not super far.
your rims, because let's look at them. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spokes on that wheel, correct?
yes, sir.
Just like the killer's car.
Similar to the
Similar? I'm not going to say yes because they both have 6 spokes, but they're similar enough that I'm willing to
Similar.
concede that they are similar.
Yes.
They're exactly a fucking like.
killer's car,
Not
yes, sir.
similar, exactly like it, correct?
But they're not the same rims.
Sir, then let's take it this way. The 12 o'clock
He grew up next to Chernobyl.
position is a
Hashtag
fat, wide
smashing
spoke, correct?
uncles.
Yes, sir.
The 6 o'clock position is arrow, correct?
Yes,
When we looked at the photograph of the killer's car, it had that same pattern, isn't that right?
yes, sir.
And when we look at the other rims, let's say we're looking at
So what to you delineates similar and identical? Nothing?
a rim here in about the 1 o'clock position, it's narrow, correct?
Son of Tilly
And when we
Savalas.
look at the opposite, it thickens, correct?
Yes, sir.
Just like the killer's car in the video, right?
Again, similar to the killer's car.
It's similar.
It's oh my god! Right, because he can't he's gonna get called for badgering the witness here soon, so he has to just go right. Like those are the 2 words that come across with the most vitriol in every cross examination: right and okay.
And okay, yeah. Okay was a lot of
right.
Sarah Boone's thing.
And
Was
it's the
okay.
same way on all of your wheels, isn't that right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now,
Similar
if
is
we can
all
cue back
over.
over to the PowerPoint presentation, let's look at these windows.
Again.
The windows.
Bottom right-hand corner,
The
sir.
warrant.
The front windows are not tinted, are they?
No, sir.
But the back ones are, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's cue
Thank God they don't have spokes we need to talk about for 14 minutes.
over to your car.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Your front windows are not tinted.
My God.
Correct?
That is correct, sir.
And your back ones are, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Very
Okay.
similar.
Why not just put them side by
Coincidence?
side?
Similar if true. That might be there's probably some legal thing that says it might be over prejudicial or something.
Oh.
That may be bullshit, but it feels like that's the sort of bureaucratic shit that would slink into this.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the killer got a car like mine.
Attention, gumshoes. The chief.
So you would agree your car looks exactly like the killer's car?
No, sir.
No, it doesn't?
All right. Okay, so we've been over this. What do you got, Robert? After all this, what's the pot of gold at the end of this rainbow?
There's a difference with that paint on the lower left-hand side that Mr. Maga testified about.
Okay. Let's talk about
Okay.
Okay.
other similarities. We've
He
seen
should have just
footage
like
from
dented the
video
fuck
with the
out of one
visor
side
down,
of
right?
his fancy
Yes,
ass
sir.
car
And I
if he
can
didn't want to get
slide
crushed.
But then people would know. Like, he never
He got hit.
Yeah, but then it'd be like, you can't say, oh, I got
Police
hit.
reports.
You don't need to, because you remember seeing it on the survey, on the videos, right, from the
Right.
PowerPoint?
Absolutely, sir.
Okay, publishing 317. And look at that. Your visor's down,
Weird.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is like the weakest
You're
detail.
suggesting that
That's what
your
the picture
professional
shows.
hitman in the funny hat knew about your visor as well?
I'm saying that Mr. Mogg pulled my visor down.
But you didn't see that, did you, sir?
I didn't see him do it, but
Right. You didn't.
Yeah, I didn't. There's not a lot of Darryl Brooks in this one, aside from like the pure delusion. But yeah, like the similarity in color at very least. But like, and it's highly recognizable is the thing.
Yeah,
too.
right.
Like there are certain years in which a lot of the SUVs weren't like they are today. I feel like a Kia looks like a Ford, looks like a whatever, a Hyundai or whatever. They all are very similar. Back in the day, they were blocky and they tried to delineate from each other at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And plus, like the year is very emblematic. Like it's very recognizable. So I mean, even the stupidest person tries to rent a car with cash. I mean, you can't anywhere, I feel like. But, like, if you own 3 cars and you use the one you just use the least? Not for nothing. I don't want to be like, hey, if you're going to be a criminal, remember this.
This is how you do it.
If you're a person, you should know this. Ring cameras are $20 a pop, and everybody fucking has them now. So it's not like you can roll down the street and case a joint or whatever old-timey bullshit you want to do. Like, you're probably, you're gonna end up like Chandler Hallerson and going around to your neighbors and going like ding dong and waving like a murderer and being like, hey, did you give the footage to the police? And that'll be everybody in your damn neighborhood, especially if you drop something and come back.
Right.
Oh yeah, a little bit of Uncle Fester. I miss Christopher. No, he's still around, Christopher Lloyd. I was thinking of Raul Julia for a second. Sorry.
You didn't see it with your own 2 eyes, correct?
that is correct.
You're just telling it out of whole cloth, correct? You're speculating. Isn't that right?
I'm speculating just to the extent of who exactly did it, but sure.
Right.
Sure.
You don't even know who it was, correct?
It could have been another officer, yes.
Okay. So now it's not just Officer Mogg that's part of this conspiracy. There's other officers too. How many officers were part of this conspiracy?
All of them. Every one of them.
I don't know.
Well, please tell me. How many do you think are involved?
I couldn't tell you, sir.
So you have no idea, but you think it might be Mogg and another officer, but you just can't come up with a number,
Oh,
correct?
Mr.
Like, if I were his lawyer, I'd be like, objection calls for speculation?
Anything? Shut up.
Mogg actually made some false representations about what happened. So yes,
Okay.
I mean, so
Sir,
I
isn't
don't know
it-
what his motivation would be otherwise.
Sir, isn't it possible that in your rush to drive back home, you just didn't even realize that the down visor might even be something of significance? Isn't that possible?
No, sir.
No. So you
No.
believe that it must have been the police, but you never witnessed anything like that happen.
I just
Correct?
know that I did not commit the murder, so that could not have been.
Okay.
Listen, any idea is not crazy as long as it's I didn't murder anybody. It could have been my favorite Martian. Talking about Christopher Lloyd a second ago. It could have been him coming down from another planet and dropping my visor down to keep the sun out of his alien eyes. As long as it's not me, I don't care what you believe.
My
I
car, my
understand you're
visor.
not taking responsibility, sir, but just to get back to my question, you never saw anyone manipulate your car, correct?
I never saw anyone firsthand. No.
Thank you. But
I heard secondhand stories.
Ooh.
Sheila at the office around the old water cooler, she had some visor stories that inadmissible.
visor is down, just like the killer.
And
Correct.
anyone could have removed it at any point in time,
The
sir.
answer to my question is yes. The visor is down, just like the killer's Yukon.
On the
correct?
same day.
Anyone could have moved it at any point.
So the answer to my question is yes.
At
The
what-
visor is down, just like the killer's car.
You're talking about, obviously, at this point in time.
Your visor
Oh my
is
god.
Right? Like, that's...
This is
I
like
can't
Sarah
believe he's
Boone.
not getting objected against for badgering or whatever. But that's what I love about these types of prosecutors is like, I feel like the defense lawyers are sort of enjoying it as much as we all are, except for like this lazy fuck who's like playing Candy Crush.
He's totally like just.
He's like,
so
oh yeah, stroganoff for dinner, honey.
Down in your Yukon, just like the killer.
Slap him to get him to answer.
And again, without knowing who did it, yes.
Thank you.
Right, Super
Didn't
Kelly?
ask you if you knew who did it, because we know who did it. It was you. It was your car, both places.
Definite Sarah Boone flashbacks. Ma'am, you know the question I'm asking you.
Intentional.
You were here yesterday and you talked for approximately 2 hours. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
And then you came here this morning and you talked for another hour or so. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Why did you do that?
There's one thing I didn't hear you mention.
Bra size.
The DNA.
Oh.
I'd like to talk about that with you. You're not disputing that you're
It's so annoying to watch him take this body position. I'm not a body language, whatever, advocate or any of that shit. I feel like that's a pseudoscience as much as polygraphs are. But you can definitely tell when someone is trying to appear comfortable and casual, but aren't.
Yeah.
That looks so uncomfortable to have his like arm and elbow tucked into his ribs because he's only got like essentially an office chair and he's just got to be like, like it, you know, if you've watched that old MST3K short about like the proper way to stand when giving a speech, he feels like the thing, like, you know, this footage would go black and white and a big circle with a cross through it would like slam on him. It's like, don't do this. You're being prosecuted.
Jameson just
Your
realized
DNA
he's
is
Kingpin.
underneath
Oh yeah.
Mr. Gehrman's
He's like, more like Prince Pin. He's lost a lot of weight. He's a very small.
fingernails, are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. But you've heard the testimony. It's there, correct?
I don't know if it was there or at
Mel
what point it might have
Blanc.
gotten
I
there,
don't know who
sir.
Mel Blanc is.
I'm not.
Mel Blanc.
Oh,
He was
sorry.
like the voice of Bugs Bunny and a bunch of other
Oh.
Looney Tunes.
I'm asking you how it got there. Are you really denying that your DNA is underneath the fingernails?
Without knowing the truth, yes, I am.
Okay, well, you
Okay, Brick, you're kind of right. Now that I'm seeing this, I imagine like a down or like a rabbit skin rug under him and like Vaseline on the lens and maybe like some blue roses and it's like a classic mall snapshot glamour photo.
heard witnesses testify.
Right.
So but the DNA lab's in on it too?
I don't know. I don't know at what point. I don't know what point this sample was collected.
I think the president's in on it too. I think Barack Hussein Obama took my DNA and planted it under the nails of Jeff German.
Sir, please tell this jury, how in the world does your DNA get underneath Mr.
Oh yeah, that sounds breezy. Good reference, Danica.
Gehrman's fingernails?
I don't know because I did not kill Mr.
You
German.
have no idea how it could have gotten underneath your fingernails, correct?
Under my
I'm
fingernails?
sorry, under his fingernails, correct?
Under
I
my
don't know that it
fingernails?
ever was, sir.
All right, let's do it another.
All right, but the DNA expert came. We read the reports. I guarantee we went over it in excruciating detail so the dumbest person in the jury can understand it. And here you are going to go like, I don't know that. It's the opposite of Sarah Boone. Know that.
Know
that. I don't. I don't know that. I do.
Another way. You and Mr. Gehrman are not friends, are you?
No?
Okay,
Definitely
You don't
not.
hang out with him ever?
Sir, I did not ever hang out with Mr. German when he was alive.
My question.
Aside when he was alive. I hung out by his dead body for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And that one time we went to B-Dubs, a.k.a. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Is yes. You didn't hang
While
out
he
with
was
him ever,
alive.
correct?
I did not.
He's never invited you over to his house.
No, sir.
You've never hung out, had drinks at a bar, correct?
No, sir.
There would be really
Never had grilled asparagus and white wine on his back porch.
no opportunity for him ever to put his hands on you in any sort of.
Anyone who says know that, then he gets 5 across the eyes. Know that.
Know that.
So many funny lines from that interrogation, from all of these things, like this one, like, know that, and then just the, I don't. Comedy gold.
Sort of social situation, correct?
Correct, sir.
And yet, these two people
I
who are
will know
not
that.
friends, your DNA just happens to be underneath his fingernails,
Happens.
correct?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
You just don't think it was legitimately placed there, correct? Or are you just ignoring the testimony of all of the witnesses that talked about how your DNA was underneath the fingernails?
Again, at some point or another, I believe it was planted because I did not kill Mr. Gurman. So,
and by that logic, if you believe it was planted, you are at least admitting, yes, my DNA is underneath his fingernails, correct? Can you at least agree with me on that?
Whether it came from a sample of the fingernails or a different sample altogether, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, sir.
The answer to my question is yes. You at least acknowledging.
This guy wants to be like, fuck!
Right.
For the love of God.
But the one thing that prosecution, like they all have a little more power than the last step in the chain.
Yeah.
So like the arresting officers on the scene will Mirandize people. They won't necessarily ask any questions unless it's like broad stuff to try and get a little more information on the situation. Then you get the detective who gets a little more tools in their belt. They're taught a little more stuff, and so they can use manipulation, but they can't really force answers out of anybody.
Right.
But the news tightens. This is the only point in this pattern, this process, where they have to answer. They can't just go, I plead the fifth, or I don't wanna, or like, get me a lawyer, because we're beyond that. And it's that's why I feel like this is sort of a palate cleanser to a lot of interrogation footage, because you want the truth up front and you want it to come out with finesse, or at least I do. I enjoy a good back and forth with a detective, whether you're Detective Technology or Detective Red Shirt, and you're screaming, why Stiven?
Why?
But at some point, you just want someone to come in and be the Alabama Hammer and just be like, yes or no, sir, like 40 times in a row.
DNA is underneath the fingernail.
No, sir.
Okay. Great.
Agreed.
So you're just going to disregard what all the other DNA witnesses said about this, correct?
And,
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
totally fine.
Degrees? Fuck you. I got a BA and BS. You can't handle the truth.
I still want to touch on this. You would agree that if I came up to you and I scratched your face or scratched your chest, there's a possibility
Scratched your back or tickled your balls.
I could get skin cells underneath my fingernails, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You would agree that if someone was trying to fight for their life and were scratching at the killer, they could potentially get DNA from the killer underneath their fingernails. That's a possibility, right?
Is that speculation or is that?
No, I'm just asking you if it's a possibility.
Is that speculate? It's a question. It's a question. If you scratch someone with your nails, cat style, do you think some of them will come away? Is that speculation? No objection. No speculation. BOIS.
I would imagine so.
Okay.
I would imagine. That you're self-flagellating.
Let's talk about your house for a second. When they went over to your house...
Yeah, if you try, that'd be funny. Imagine Robert Telles trying to get a refund for his law degree, and they go, sorry, no exchanges, no return.
Right.
No truth handler, you.
They took a look underneath your couch. Publishing 224.
Remember those
That's
gray
your
shoes?
couch, right?
That is my couch.
And underneath
Is that your crate? Do you sleep in there? Or takes you for
your
walkies?
couch is a shoe and a chopped up shoe, right?
Right.
Why? I don't get this shit. Why not throw this shit away?
Right.
So many.
Anywhere but your house, throw it away.
Like, the number of receipts that people find at crime scenes or in murderers' pockets or just anywhere that are so incriminating. I'm not a murderer. I don't feel like committing a crime. I just want to get through life and be as good as I possibly can. But even I, when offered a receipt, turn it down. And when I am forced to take one, it's the first thing that hits the garbage can as soon as I'm out of the store.
Right.
I can't believe these people were like, Joel Guy Jr., this numbnuts, be like, get the receipt, all the murder memorabilia, and you pack it up in a nice little bag for the cops. Or maybe you spread it around the house like an Easter egg hunt. However you're going to do it. But like, a burn pit, like a river, or just like the garbage, because once it hits the dump, it's gone.
Right.
Like Brent Christensen, Yingling, they never found her body because the speculation is she went into the garbage, and then you're in 14 trillion cubic feet of trash and they will never find you.
Yep.
Like, But here's like even this numbnuts. He's like, well, I'll keep the shoes and not necessarily keep them as a trophy in like a special place. Like he's not a bone collector. He's not like looking at them and like, you know, getting off to the fact that he murdered somebody. He just chucks them under his fucking chair. You know, not a trophy, not even really a piece of evidence to consider. It's like blowing your nose and cramming it into like the couch cushions at your grandma's house.
Okay. That's the gray Nike, correct?
Pure so, yes, sir.
Publishing 228. That's what it looks like, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's gray in color, correct?
Yes.
It is a Nike brand, correct?
Yes, sir.
It has a black swoosh, correct?
Yes, sir.
It has 4 horizontal or at least vertical bars in the middle of that shoe, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. You would agree with me. That's the shoe that the killer was wearing, correct?
I don't know that that's the case.
You don't know? Well, it sure looks a heck of a lot like it, right?
Yes, it could be the same model, but it could be a different size.
Sure. Let's just look at it.
I don't disagree that it's the same model.
Right. It's the exact same type of shoe, right?
Right.
Okay.
He'll say that about the shoe, but like his car, exactly alike. The rims, exactly alike. Similar. I'm not going to concede that. Here we are. The shoes on the feet of the people. Oh, exactly alike. Maybe not in size, but does that matter?
So we're not in dispute about that. We can agree on that, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
And your DNA is in those shoes that are found in your house, correct?
I don't know that to be the case.
Okay, but that's the whole thing of like it's a setup, and I think the DNA.
Doesn't that every time he goes, I don't know that to be the case when it's talking about like matters of science or DNA, feels like having any conversation with a flat earther. I don't know that to be the case. I don't believe that. I mean, that's great, but like the problem with that is sometimes reality is shaped not only by like what's provable, but by consensus. And when both of those things are against you, like here, because and you can't, and you can't get to the bottom of it. Because if you were to ask Robert, like, well, why don't you believe in the DNA? I mean, maybe there's that built-in conspiracy thing where maybe he just believes that it was all planted. But there's no solid choice here. He's not sure if the DNA was there, it was allegedly there, maybe it was planted, maybe it was never there, maybe it's a conspiracy. It's like, again, with Darrell Brooks, it was the sovereign citizen thing, produced the state of Wisconsin to prosecute me thing, like the chain of custody for evidence or whatever the bullshit always was. But where does it get us? Nowhere.
DNA people are framing me. Something along those lines, right?
Shoot in
Whether it's them or someone else?
You've
Sure.
heard the results. The results say that your DNA is in that shoe. I mean, we did hear that, correct?
Don't believe that.
That is what we heard.
Okay.
That's what we heard.
And you just think it's just another part of the conspiracy to somehow get your DNA into those shoes.
So I believe that there are officers who, when they think that a fellow officer needs help plugging holes in the case, that they're willing to do what they have to.
Okay.
Plugging holes.
All right. You'd characterize this case as a case that has holes?
I think that Detective Jappy decided he wanted me for this, and everybody decided to assist him because they thought,
Jappy's a part of it now, too.
oh, he's always
So
been.
we've got the DNA lab, we've got Jappy, we've got Mogg. We haven't even touched Compass yet. We will. We'll get there because they're part of it, too, correct?
So they paid Detective Jappy.
So yeah, that's the thing. So we're going to get into this now. So the company, the Realty company that he was doing all this research on, that he was going to be the champion of, like the ripping off of people buying homes, was Compass Realty. So they were paying off the police, who also had a vested interest for some reason. So it's like doing something you love and getting paid for it without having to like be Smaug? Smaug?
Jappy, yes.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to get to all that. in a
Officer
second.
Troll.
Absolutely, sir.
So
Absolutely.
here's the thing. Are the shoes underneath the sofa of your house,
For what?
are those actually your shoes?
That I don't know for sure. I do have similar ones.
Where did you think those were planted too?
Are those your shoes? Sure,
Debatable.
I may have bought Nikes that were gray in that exact model Are those mine? You know, somebody get Jonathan Frakes in here because we have. Was he in Unsolved Mysteries? No, that was Robert Stack. What was it? Was it Believe It or Not? Let's get Jonathan Frakes in here.
But again, I have not.
That was, yeah.
Oh, you
Adios,
similar.
Ryan. Have a great night.
Bye, Ryan. Thanks for the
Publishing
super chat and becoming an
360.
FFOP fan member.
It's the same shoe, isn't it?
Fact or fiction is
it's
what
potentially the
Riker
same-
was in.
Oh yeah, Fact or
Sure is the
Fiction.
one,
Because
yeah.
it was 2 truths and a lie or whatever
Yeah.
their thing was.
Sir,
Sir.
you're not doubting that this is a photograph of shoes that belong to you,
It's a
correct?
shoe.
Right. That- this is-
Terrible framing. P.S. Like every time someone shows a photograph, the photographer in me has to like nitpick it a little bit. What is up with that shit? It looks fucking terrible.
me.
So this wasn't planted evidence,
This shoe didn't fall off. He took it off.
Yeah, he took it off.
right?
And he
The
hit
picture of the
them.
shoe.
No conspiracy here.
And you were claiming ownership over that shoe, right?
Right.
So it's gray in color, right? It's
You
got
didn't bring the girls, but you did bring a $30,000 check.
the black Nike swoosh, correct?
Right.
It's got the 4 black horizontal bars in it, right?
Right.
And you would agree with
4
me when you
bars.
wore those shoes, you probably left your DNA behind there in those shoes, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're saying now
Yes.
that it's just a pure coincidence that the exact same type of shoe sitting underneath your couch in your house with your DNA on it, that's not the shoe?
Remember that I was under surveillance by Detective Jappy, and this was on a day that I was under surveillance.
Let's
If I'm
get
not-
back to my question.
This was like the day the photo was taken, the day they found the shoe. Like
The day
yeah,
you murdered the guy?
you would have to be under surveillance, because they came and got the shoe. Like, it wasn't like they go into his house, they throw him to the ground and point a gun at his head and like throw some shoes on and be like, he's got a shoe.
Oh my God. Thomas says, I'm always leaving DNA behind in shoes. That doesn't make me a criminal.
Yeah, I don't want to judge you in your personal life. I usually just keep like socks in there myself. But welcome, Thomas Mahoney, the Alabaloney.
Question, sir.
Won't
You're
frame
trying
him.
to tell me that the shoe that you see in that photograph, that you claim ownership on, that you say you put your DNA in,
It's actually Maurice Wolins.
Ah,
looks identical to the shoe that's underneath your sofa, underneath the recliner. You're saying those two are not the same shoes?
I don't know that they are.
Okay. It's just another crazy
I don't know that
coincidence,
they
right?
are.
When somebody chops up a shoe and puts it under the couch, that's a little strange.
Right.
Yeah, it's like kind of a stupid thing to do. Like
Yeah.
a professional wouldn't do that, or anyone with 2 brain cells to put together. They wouldn't keep both shoes, chop up one, which, whatever, your theories may be what they are. But if you threw them under the couch or that chair and there's a lot of moving mechanical and
Yeah.
metal parts, probably destroyed one of the shoes.
yeah.
Because why only one, right? And why not? Why keep it? And if you are going to keep it, why, like, I don't know, man. It's like going on a panty raid and then you bring the panties back to your cabin and you just throw them in the garbage. Like, so they're still there on your premises. You can still get caught, but you brought them home for what?
And here's the interesting thing.
Super interesting.
Look at the date on this.
Oh, check it out.
This is August 19th, right?
Yes, sir.
So
And
we're
again,
talking, like-
surveillance started at 8:16.
No penny
Right?
question.
No. But this image is in your phone, right?
This particular image, I'm sure I've likely texted it.
This particular image, if you have a $2 vocabulary, you don't say, those shoes, this particular image. Where were you last night? Where was I last night? Good, your ears work. Keep going.
To my wife to say, hey, I'm rock climbing indoors.
So here's the thing. How? Oh, so you're saying, okay. So you believe
broke him.
because you were under surveillance, what? That they knew the type of shoes you were wearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You've seen the photos from the surveillances, right?
I have seen some of the photos from some of them. Not everything was
You're
produced to me.
not wearing the Nikes.
Not everything was produced to me, sir.
Okay. Son of a bitch.
Of what was
Okay.
produced to you, which was everything.
It was.
Oh,
Which
damn.
was everything. Yeah, Sarah, we delivered the box of shit to your cell.
Not.
You're not wearing the Nikes on the days that you're surveilled, isn't that right?
This 819 was
Sir, I need you to
during.
focus on my
It took
question.
them over a
Isn't
day
it
to
true on the
deliberate?
days that you were surveilled,
Wow.
You're not wearing the Nikes, correct?
That is not true.
Okay. So we'll pull them and we'll take a walk down that lane.
Memory lane.
Because every single day, isn't it true you are not wearing the
I
Nikes?
lost
That
the
is not
right
true, sir.
channel.
You're wearing your little moccasins, the gray ones, the topsiders. Remember those? You own those, right? You own the gray topsiders, right?
What are topsiders? I don't know.
I'm dating myself, I guess. But
Dating myself. He cloned himself.
they're like a boat shoe. They're kind of like it's like almost
loafer?
like a grayish felt, but they're not Nikes. You were wearing those when you were surveilled, correct?
If you want to put the photos, I can confirm
The
whatever.
answer to my question is no, you don't know the answer as to what shoes
If you can put up the photos, I'll confirm whatever. Nice.
Thanks, Shonda.
you're wearing on the days you were surveilled.
I have like a
Little
tan
moccasins.
shoe that I probably wore during some
Well,
surveillance.
don't worry. We'll get the photos and we'll go through it.
Don't
Absolutely.
worry.
Okay. So here's the thing. If Compass Realty framed you, how in the world would they know about these shoes?
Again, I said that I was under surveillance by Metro on this date, 8/19, and obviously they took photos and they provided those to Detective Jappy.
Not my question.
So what? And then Jappy did what?
Right. Well, he has said so often that like why it. I wish the prosecutor would be like, just let him, because when I brought this up before, if you're going to start a list, make sure you have 3 things to say. You have to say blah 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 and blah.
Yeah.
If you have 2, stop. Like find a 3rd, then do the thing. If you have way more than 2, don't do that either. What you have to do is like, it's nuance that most people don't get. But like in the same vein here with Robert, what we're getting here is like he's going, Jeff German was murdered. I didn't murder him, so. And then the prosecuting attorney, and obviously he's got bigger fish to fry and probably, money winning quarterback, just sailing past the so. Okay, so what, Robert? So what? He's dead. You didn't kill him, so what?
What with them?
Pass them to whomever he needed to. Again, I didn't commit the murder, so
Again.
So, sir,
Wasn't me.
there's no way Compass Realty could know you had shoes like that.
they're
Correct.
not without being informed.
Okay.
Obviously. They would not know about me if someone hadn't told the things to them about me. Wayland Yutani, Omni Consumer Products, and Compass Realty, and the long history of dystopian corporations destroying humanity for financial gain. Yeah. Because, Wayland Yutani, they go, get me those xenomorphs. And then we got Compass Realty. We're going to have to nuke Las Vegas from orbit.
And this phone and this data about your phone isn't produced until after you're arrested, correct?
I don't know when it was produced.
Read the date. I read the date. Listen to me when I read the date. I did it already. It's also on the screen right now.
But I
If you
don't know.
don't know what the date is, I'm concerned for your mental stability. Are you suffering from dementia? Do you smell toast?
You had your phone with you on the day that you're arrested, right?
Yes, sir.
Like,
To my
you didn't
knowledge.
give it to Jappy in early September, did you?
No, sir.
No, you had it with you the whole time until you get arrested,
Jappy
right?
and Mog.
That I know, yes, sir.
And that was on September
Right.
7th, correct?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, the only way anyone could learn about information inside your phone
Is
would
you.
have to be after the murder was committed, correct?
No, sir.
Okay.
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 I need a break,
Think there's a
Judge.
way that someone could have found the contents of your phone prior to the murder.
We heard earlier about the fact that someone can actually hack phones. Yes.
Yeah, we're all familiar with the concept of hacking. And that somebody out there, white hat or black hat, are, they're hacking mainframes as we speak. However, there has been no evidence that you were hacked, and he'll get into it.
And whether it was that they found it that way or by surveillance.
We heard about the hack. It was just a question asked by your attorney. No witness ever testified that your phone was hacked, correct?
Right, but you heard him ask the question, right?
Yeah, that's
he said,
important.
could you have been hacked? And I said, yes. Move along.
But you asked if there was only one means, and no, there's more than one means, sir.
Okay. Sir, let's just be
More than one way to hack a mainframe.
Is it?
Kids call cringe.
Is it just me, or like this courtroom looks like filthy? Look at all that shit on the ground.
It's probably always like this. They don't have. Yeah, they don't. They're not built for style. Like this is all IKEA furniture and like cords and plugs and coffee stains.
Yeah, there's just
be
so
clear
much
about one
stuff
thing.
on the
You
ground.
had possession of your
Oh yeah, no evidence of being hacked. Expert hacker. I think Anonymous Anonymous teamed up with Compass Realty and Wayland Yutani, along with the Las Vegas PD, to really fuck me over, you guys. And I lost the election.
Oh man.
phone through the entire month of August of 2022, correct?
It wasn't in my sight 24/7.
Sure, but you weren't
Next
loaning
witness,
anyone, correct?
Matthew Lillard in a t-shirt with nipple holes.
Oh hell yeah! And then Angelina Jolie, and then you start like phone freaking.
Correct.
That would be weird.
Yeah, it would be.
That
you
would be
didn't
weird.
give it to Derek Jaffe.
I call Matthew Lillard to the stand. He comes in with his twisty like braids and shit, and he's like, "What up, Judge?"
Correct.
No, sir.
You didn't give it to Cliff Mogg, correct?
No, sir.
Because you didn't even know who Cliff Mogg was at that point, correct?
No, sir.
I've come to know and love
You
him.
didn't give your phone to anybody from Metro, correct?
That's correct, sir.
All right, so now let's get
All
to
right.
some of the other interesting things
Okay.
Now we might
that
be on
are
the
in
same
your phone.
page.
Oh, by the way, and you also have DNA on the scissors, right? Or are we denying that? Or is that one you're at least acknowledging because of the cooking thing?
Because
no,
you live there.
My blood was on those scissors.
Okay, so Metro got that one right.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 out of 3. Yeah, but are you going to trust the other 2? Your Honor, prosecutor. I mean, come on.
You gotta remember, those are wrappers on the floor from all the hoagies they be throwing down when it's time to down the meatball subs.
Yeah, those are left over from when they were interviewing Todd Colehip. Hey, Todd, I'm going to Quiznos. You want me to grab you something? Goddamn, you're
yeah.
so cool, Todd.
You're my best friend, Todd.
That wasn't a frame job.
Orange
No, well,
Courage.
I do
fucking
think that
love
they
that.
used some of the DNA from that, but
But before we move on, I gotta ask you this too. So, like, if Metro's really, so you think Metro's framing you for this?
as I said before, I think that we've got some officers who are overzealous and who've decided to help Jappy plug holes in his case.
Plug holes. So here's the thing. As I'm listening to this and I'm wondering, I'm wondering why his defense attorney, because like I feel like I'm not an attorney, I'm not smart or anything, but I've seen people call objections for less.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering if, since he was able to just sort of do his little spiel, like vaudeville narrative style testimony, do they give up that right, or they just not care because he was able to just blow hard? Because why wouldn't they be like, yeah, calls for speculation, like this, that, or the other, like badgering? Like none of that is happening.
Look at Sarah Boone's defense lawyer.
Yeah.
They went up to the podium, or not the podium, to the judge. I don't know how many times.
Right.
Because he called the objection and
he
was
was working
overruled.
his ass off. And dude's over there, playing Super Mario Sunshine on his, hacked, bootleg Amazon Chinese game console.
Not knowing what his relationship was with Compass Realty.
Here's a
Objection,
sir.
If you'd be allowed to answer the question before
Okay,
the next question, please.
sir.
Right, they only objected for the benefit of the court stenographer.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Sir, I can't
This lady needs to type.
the stuff.
If the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department wanted to frame you, why didn't they put the murder weapon in your house?
Ah,
I think that maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's a good question.
I think that maybe I don't know. I think maybe I don't know because we don't have evidence to support that there was a conspiracy or anyone even knew who the fuck you were. Right? They just like Robert Telles as like a TikTok star who gets pulled over for speeding in their Lamborghini. Like the cops aren't on TikTok. They don't know who the fuck you are. Some pansexual weirdo with pink hair and like a bright blue Lambo. You're just going to jail. You can scream, "You don't know who I am," as many times as you want. Everybody on Jerry Springer would give the Z snap to the crowd and say, "You don't know me." It doesn't matter.
You don't
need
know me.
I mean,
Great question, because if the murder weapon that had Gehrman's DNA in was inside your house, wouldn't that be an even better case?
yeah, but at the same time, I think
But it's not there, is it?
no.
No, it's
Just the
not.
shoes.
Even though, according to you, they control everything, they don't put the murder weapon on you? Does
Well,
that make any sense?
I think it does.
Okay. How about this? If Compass Realty wants to kill you, why don't they encourage Metro like, we'd really like you to put the murder weapon in there? Why didn't they do something like that?
I don't know.
That seems
yeah.
really odd that the most significant thing is not in your house.
This is the beauty about conspiracy theories. The people involved in conspiracy theories never stop to like judge objectively, or at least as much as they can. A conspiracy will typically fall apart under its own weight, like the moon landing or the JFK or whatever. Pick your favorite conspiracy. When you think about the breadth and scope of what would need to be involved and how many people would need to be totally silent about it, even though humans are like sieves, they leak all the fucking time. And then to say, well, like, it's Metro PD, it's Compass Realty, it's this, that, and another organization, the Illuminati. Right, but like, if you're crazy, you don't see that. Like, aside from there being basically no monetary or otherwise motive, aside from just like petty personal differences or squabbles,
Yeah.
like, you know, Jesse, the mind, body, and soul Ventura said it best. Follow the money. If there's no motivation, like if nobody's going to get anything out of this, and nobody would because he was just voted out, he had no power, no influence. His reputation was in shatters from the articles that Jeff wrote. You know, what is there to gain from kicking a shitbag while he's down, aside from, you know, delusions of grandeur?
Correct?
I think what's odd is that 5 days after the murder, that supposedly there was a shoe
So the answer
and
to my
also a
question-
hat in my house.
So the answer to my question,
Yeah, that's
the
weird.
most significant piece of evidence, the murder weapon, is not in your house despite your theory you've been framed.
That's correct, sir.
Let's talk about this. We've seen the picture of the killer. What's the most notable thing, by far the most notable thing on the killer's person?
He's holding your credit card.
It's either the hat or the shirt.
It's the shirt, right? And that shirt is not in your house, is it?
No.
If Metro or
It wasn't me, so
Compass
no.
or Rita or Cliff all wanted to frame you, why didn't they put the bright orange coat in your house?
I couldn't speak to that. All I can tell
Doesn't
you is
that sound not very professional if they're trying to set you up?
Culture speculation. Objection. Just kidding. I'm playing Tetris.
I don't know. Maybe for plausibility's sake, they put half the
Oh,
stuff
they
in
want to
there. I'm
dial
not
it
sure.
back.
Yeah, typically detectives love not an open and shut case, but a door ajar case.
Yeah.
They wouldn't plant like a slam dunk, like amount of evidence. They would plant just enough that, and with no confession and no, you know, hello, this is your first day in law enforcement or the criminal justice system. They'd plant, you know, such circumstantial stuff. Because that's what corrupt cops do. Like, they don't pull you over on the side of the road and they go, aha, 12 pounds of coke.
Uh-huh.
They go, aha, illegal catfish poached from our local streams. Right? They go big or go home.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay. Here's another thing. Why don't they cover your car in Garriman's DNA? Why did they do that?
Because they didn't have access to the car until the day that Mr. Mogg took photos.
But they have, I mean, they control everything. They take it to their CSI garage and they rub it full of DNA. Why is there no DNA of Garriman in your car? And yet they want to frame you. Why isn't it there? Do you have an answer for that?
Sir, I don't know.
Okay. But one of the things that we do know is that prior to your arrest,
I love
you
that
do,
he
in
keeps
fact,
looking over
wash
at
that
his
car.
defense.
Right. But he's never making eye contact because he's down here with
Yeah.
Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Correct?
The exterior only.
You still wash it, correct?
Oh, yes.
And your testimony to this jury was, after Rita told me about the tweets about the car that I found so strikingly similar, I went out and washed my car. You told them that on direct. Isn't that correct?
No, sir.
I meant Roberta. After Roberta told you, gosh, that looks just like your car, and you read John R. Custer's tweet, you went out and that prompted you to start washing the Yukon.
I can't believe that General George Custer rose from the grave to tweet to Robert Taylor that he had different ribs.
That's not your testimony.
No. I said that I washed all 3 vehicles.
Great.
Great.
And that includes the one that I am referring to, you dick.
So you told everybody you washed your car. No. I washed 3 cars. Oh, not guilty.
Including your Yukon.
Yes.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Because you'd agree if you only wash one of them, that might look a little suspicious, right?
I don't know that I was planning things to be suspicious or not suspicious, sir.
The question wasn't, were you planning to look suspicious? It would look suspicious. I don't know. No one, like, I'm not talking about your Christmas vacation. You're going to Hawaii over the summer. You're planning. I wasn't planning to look suspicious, Your Honor. But, I'll be damned. I just ended up doing it.
Okay. But let's just be clear.
Got
You
any
would
ribs
agree
back
with,
there? Thomas is starving.
You can grab a McRib and then throw up later. His lawyers are like, we told you not to take the stand. They always tell their client not to take the stand. Any lawyer worth their salt, be they underpaid public defender or high paid, anybody on the spectrum, if they're worth their weight in salt, goes, don't get up on the fucking stand. But if someone like a Sarah Boone, a Nancy Brophey, a Daryl Brooks, a whoever, a Robert Telles, they go, no, I got this.
Don't worry.
It's like they're grinding along the rim of that big hole in Sparta that Gerard Butler kicks that dude into. And they go, no, you can't keep it going forever. And they go, yeah, I will, old timer. And then the prosecuting attorney just gives them a little shove in because it doesn't take much.
No.
You can kick flip around and do your mad ollies all you want. As soon as someone goes like, hey, now we got to answer like real questions. You can't just blow yourself for 3 hours.
Oh,
with
man.
me, washing things can make evidence go away. Isn't that right?
I would agree.
I would think DNA evidence would be inside of a vehicle, not on the outside, sir.
Okay. Sir, you'd be surprised.
Okay.
But that's not the
I guess
How do you
I guess
close
I'll
your
be
door?
surprised.
My question is this.
Aha.
Washing things can make evidence go away, correct?
Could it possibly? Yes.
Oh, my God.
Speculation? Isn't that speculation? It's a question again, sir. Huh? Oh,
Let's continue down the path of what's in your phone.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it's hundreds and hundreds of images from Google Earth that exclusively center around Jeff Gurman's house. Well, care to explain?
Here's
Offer
a map
comment?
quest.
Going to be, I hope I didn't ruin this.
I hope I didn't ruin this. Sounds
going
like
to
someone
be-
doesn't practice good auto safety and lick his car door handle before getting in.
He has the balls of a burglar.
We're going to be publishing Exhibit 354. Sure.
It's so funny that they had to give him like an eraserless pencil that's like an art pencil and like an eyebrow pencil with
Yeah.
the string on it.
But, like, why?
Why not give him a crayon? Look, I don't know. That's the thing.
I've never seen anybody writing when they're on the stand.
It's probably because if I had to throw my money and my hat into the ring, I would say it's because if you're accused of a crime, they're not going to give you something that gets super sharp. And those types of pencils have like a lead that's like half an inch across, and like
Sure.
you have to sit there and like prison shank
I get
it.
that. Like, I don't care about what he's writing with. I just want to know why.
I'm telling you, so he can't shank somebody. They give him a thing like it's the bluntest object they can give him. There's no metal involved because there's no eraser on it. He can't Justin McFetridge himself or anyone else. They just give him essentially like an adult crayon.
I know, but why does he need it at all? Why does he have to write while he's on the stand is my issue.
Because he is a smart guy, and the way you prove to people that you're smart is you have a pencil and you take notes and you go, oh. Yeah, he can't pull a Jeff Stacy. He'll just like leave a black eyeliner line across his jugular. His head looks like a pencil eraser. Yeah, he rubs his paper on his forehead. Yeah, he's like a skinny fat person, Tom.
This.
Here's the car again.
Here's you.
Take that in.
Oops, someone's got a long zipper. I'd like to check out that dude's hog after court.
Let's look at.
Why is he writing it all? Do you think he's like writing his memoir IRT in real time?
Yeah, that's
He's
what
like,
my
"Then
issue
this
is.
stupid bitch asked me the dumbest question in the world. I'm Robert Telles.
Like even
let's
Sean
look at this.
DeVander, whatever, didn't have anything to write on like that we saw.
Wait, hold on. Well, because it's up to who cares? I don't want to talk about why he has a paper and pencil anymore. Did you see this IRL, Kelly? You saw someone get stabbed in the eye with a pencil. Was that like something you saw like where you work or like in your dealings with true crime content?
Right.
Because like I can't imagine going into the office and like ending the day with like one of those astronaut foil blankets, like shivering because you saw someone's eyeball explode and a pencil hit it.
Well, let's do it. We'll do it this way.
Mysterious monster hog somewhere. Your Honor, I would like to develop this monster hog theory.
If we could just cue over for a second to the overhead.
Here it is again.
This
you
is
read
this
the data
extraction
down?
report that has a lot of images regarding Google Maps in your phone. Do you remember hearing testimony about this?
That's what I heard.
Okay. And the date on
that's
this
what I
is
heard.
August 12th of 2022. Isn't that correct? That's when these files appear. Isn't that right?
That's when it purports to have appeared.
Purports.
Sir, you would agree with me. You don't actually have to go to Bronze Circle to get Google Maps to generate these images, correct? All you have to do is go to the website. Isn't that right?
Yeah, you like would imagine if Google Earth worked that way where you could only Google where you were standing. I need a picture of where I am. Hey, good news, dumbass. You got a camera on your phone.
Yep, at a community college in Stockton, California, the
Holy
financial aid office.
shit.
Did the student stab the financial aid representative
That's
in
one
the
hell of a
eyeball?
story. Like I've never seen anybody like intentionally harm another. Like I saw a kid get hit in the head with like an aluminum bat at a softball game once, and like just blood gushed. But like, how did you survive? How did you get out?
Why?
Why,
For
Steven?
any location, sure. Yes. Sure.
And this is what, about 2 to 3
What?
weeks before Mr. Gehrman is killed?
If we can trust the date, yes.
All right.
If we could
We
trust
can.
the
We
date.
can, Steven.
So, sir, let's
Let's break it down.
Steven.
I'm opening the folder that says
Everybody
Bronze
behind
Circle.
him's
If we
like
could
looking
cue over,
around him.
please.
Like eyeballs, Steven. The balls are there, Steven.
You like them eyeballs?
When's the last time you shoot them guns,
That's
Steven?
Jeff Gehrman's house, correct?
I
That's a
have
cute
come to
house.
learn that it
I have come to learn. Classic car. Is it El Camino in the fucking neighbor's house?
Definitely
This
like an
house-
HOA. Look at all those
Great point.
plants.
Come to learn that. Because prior to this all
Student-y
happening, you
student.
had never been over to the house, correct?
Over
Right.
You
computer
have no reason
access?
to be over at
Bitch,
that
give me
house,
that computer or
correct?
I'll stab you in the eye.
People stab each other over food stamps or $20 of cigarettes. With a computer access. I don't know where that situates on the scale, but it's probably above at least a single cigarette.
I gotta fill out my
That is absolutely
FAFSA.
You don't even know where he lives, because I'm sure Mr. Gehrman didn't give you his personal address.
that is absolutely correct.
And yet the weird thing
Absolutely.
is, when we go through these images, when we start getting to like the Google Maps data, like that's his house, right?
It looks like that is the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. It tickles me so much that I'd watch a whole episode of your guys and the chat just saying and typing Steven.
Stop! The hair is there. You
Steven.
shoot them guns, Steven? You collect knives, Steven. You know your swords, your knives.
You like
could
girls.
you buy and sell and trade swords? No. What's that knife you showed me that was dull, Steven? Cookery.
Same thing. That's his house, right?
It appears to be.
It was FAFSA related, of course it was.
Like if we look over here in the back, that's literally the very spot
Impala
where
is the
Mr.
driveway.
Gehrman
Oh, Impala. What did I say? El Camino?
Yeah,
breathes
yeah.
his last
I meant to say Impala.
breath. Isn't that right?
Objection.
Although I could have easily said Malibu.
Speculation.
It's like, oh, cause for speculation. So he was found
Sustained.
dead right here in this picture. Now they're going to go, cause for speculation. The one thing that's definitely provable. They know where his body was found. Cause for speculation?
That's the very last spot that we see Mr. Garriman from that body cam, right? He's lying right over there.
It
I
looks like a
guess.
similar area.
Similar area.
Similar.
If
It's
that's what the
area,
camera shows.
I had similar rims, and that's definitely a similar area to where his body was found.
isn't it?
If you say so, sure.
It's the
So
exact
you don't
area.
believe that's the spot?
I mean, it looks like the house, so I would think.
How about there? Isn't that where Mr.
How about
Garriman was
right
found
here?
by the police?
Look at his
Literally.
meter. What do you think of that, huh? 2 meters. You got water and electrical. Pff, could you read a meter, Robert? Simon?
Diamond,
I would
huh?
think like
How do
this.
you feel about that word
Very
dust?
spot
He cut up underwear to look like a dustbuster style.
his body is lying is inside your phone.
Sure.
That is very strange.
That is very strange. Huh.
I mean, how does someone plan to have a victim in a particular area at their home? I don't.
Nobody is inferring. Implying. He's inferring. Nobody is implying that he planned where he would commit the murder based on the Google Maps data. Nobody has floated that theory. So the fact that he's like pulling this out of whole cloth to be like, well, who could have Google mapped the dude's house and then said, I want to kill him in the side yard by the meter? Your case is prima facie.
I don't. That's again.
So you would agree
That's
with
again.
me
So
that if you were planning
Huh?
to kill someone at their house, it might be a good idea to get a lay of the land, right?
probably.
I've never plotted to kill anyone.
Well, I didn't say you. I'm just talking
I didn't
hypothetically.
say
You would agree
you.
with me
He did say you, but he was speaking in the
You.
general you.
that if you were planning to kill someone, it might be a good idea to get a lay of the land,
I
correct?
object. It's a hypothetical question. He's not an expert, so.
Oh, we'll take an answer.
Let me ask
He's not an expert at planning murders, Your Honor.
you that question one more time. You'd agree with me. If you're planning on killing someone, it's a good idea to get the lay of the land, right?
I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances are. I don't know which.
The circumstances
God.
are you want to kill someone. So,
But you want to know what everything looks like around you.
Right. When you're playing Metal Gear Solid, you roll around stealthily and get an idea of your surroundings before you start causing the exclamation marks to appear over the guards' heads, right? You just don't roll in not knowing shit because you can get caught with your pants down or your sun hat on.
What you're talking about as far as where you want to, do this deed or whatever.
It's a hypothetical crime, wherever you want to do this deed. Again, I'm not a murderer, so.
He's not an expert on planning murders, Your Honor, by virtue
Let's do it.
of us all
You know
being
what?
here.
I answer the question. We'll do it another way.
Again, I object to the characterization.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Telles,
Sustained.
if you're planning on doing something, you want to
He's like, I don't know. He must be doing this on purpose to like try and come across as like caught off guard, but all of his little facial expressions was like, oh, hoo-ha. It must, in his mind, he's probably thinking like, oh, I'm engaged and like, I'm not angry. I'm just confused and interested in like how all this, because again, not the murderer, so ... But he's coming across as just like a dog who's listening to someone play a recorder.
That's just like, and I know I keep bringing her up, but Shonda Vander Ark, she makes a similar like head motions and stuff when they ask like,
Right.
oh, I
He
didn't
looks like
see.
a German Shepherd puppy or like a bald Shar Pei, like listening to violin music from an old Victrola. He like, doesn't understand what's going on. And he's not coming across as like, oh, interesting. It's just like, huh? Like he's an owl from Rockadoodle?
Oh yeah.
want to prepare for it, correct?
It depends on what you're planning to do.
Okay. How about your work?
Again, the plan is to murder. It depends on what you're planning to do. However, what you're going to do, plan will go associated.
As a public administrator,
Eating
did you
fresh
prepare every day to
Botox.
go to work to be competent at what you're doing?
Yes.
Did you do that because it's important to do the job correctly?
Yes, sir.
And if the stakes are really big, you want to make sure you're super prepared?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's
So now the plan is murder, and you want to murder someone. Would you prepare? Yes or no?
Well, I don't want to plan to murder anybody.
What activity? It depends on the context. I don't.
over 100 images of Bronze Circle neighborhood in your house, correct? In your phone. Isn't that right?
I don't know that they are, sir.
Okay. Well, then let's start clicking.
Plus, again,
There's that card
I
again.
wouldn't
Ooh.
use my card.
It's not my question. My question is, this is contained in your phone, right, sir?
I don't believe so.
Okay, you don't believe so?
If it is in there, I didn't put it there, sir.
Okay. So the answer is it's there, but you didn't.
Why do you need pictures of the roof?
This is just a slight modification of the Shonda Vander Ark. She'll say, if it's there, I'll agree with it. He's saying, if it's there, it got there illegally.
Yeah,
Classic lolcow defense. Like when Cyrax or whoever gets like accused of having questionable material related to underage people, they go, I got nothing. But if you do find something, or like that TCAP kid, Robert, what's his name? Again, another Robert, the babyface predator, where he's like, my brother or my friend was looking at him like bestiality, and I had to get rid of that. Like, if anything's there, someone else put it there. Like, if someone were to ask me, like, hey, is there any human shit in your bed? I wouldn't say, if there is, I didn't put it there. I would go, no.
Yeah.
No, there is none. Because that would be weird. Don't believe they're so excited. Yeah, hey. Watch that movie. It's a classic.
You put it there, correct?
Glenn Campbell? Are you kidding me?
Again, I do not know that it's there, and I certainly did not put it there.
Okay, so we're just.
Okay.
Okay, sir. You did.
You're asking me
No pending question?
to testify something that I can't tell you is true.
Right. But you did hear the testimony of someone coming and said, I looked in his phone and that stuff is there, correct?
That's what they've said.
It's the same phone that your expert looked at, correct? To extract Celebrite data from, right? It's the exact same phone.
I'm waiting for him to start clenching his jaw like she does
too. Did you ever
too.
hear Mr. Aguero ever say that your phone was compromised in any way? Did you ever hear that from him?
We never asked him that question.
Okay, but he didn't say it, did he?
The question was never asked.
Right.
Don't ask, don't tell. Your Honor, that was repealed.
He looked at your data, he prepared a report, and alerted no one to any problems with your phone, correct?
I don't know.
I object to, he was not called upon to review the phone. He reviewed
Oh,
the
sorry, I was
Celebrite
sleeping. Objection.
extraction phone. So I object to this line of question.
Objection is sustained.
We can move on. You heard from.
Let's talk about the rims again.
Matt Romanek from the DFL department. He testified that there weren't any issues with this phone, correct? When he looked at data that came from it, correct?
He said that, I guess they try not to modify contents of things, but he didn't say that it was impossible.
Okay. Here,
If you're copying something, they try not to modify. Like, chain of custody of evidence, right? Like, the legal system is so picky, like, cases have been thrown out for less. Like, if something isn't documented correctly, even typos can get shit thrown out.
Right.
And he's like, well, they said they tried not to fabricate evidence. And did they? I don't know. But they try not to change evidence. Like, this isn't Jurassic Park. They're not trying to fill in your DNA with bits of frog to get dinosaurs.
Right. Objection. There's got to be some legal objection I can make here, Your Honor.
This is annoying, Your Honor. I object.
well, we can do this too. You got up on direct examination and you went through message by message by message, and you didn't complain about any of the messages that were on September 2nd, correct?
I dispute.
I object as to complaint.
Rephrase the question.
Sure. You offered testimony to this jury about the timeline, correct?
Yes.
You went text by text and phone call by phone call, and you explained things, right?
Right.
At no point did you say, oh, there's a problem here, correct?
Correct.
You had no problem with that information, did you?
Right.
Okay.
So this harkens back to, not mentioned yet, but the Amy Day case. So when Amy Day killed her mom, she's like, I know my phone, because she did the exact opposite. She said there were calls, that she called her mom, that she did this and that, and the James Spader detective is like, Amy, it ain't there.
Yeah.
Like, you say this and that, but the fact of the matter is it ain't there. And so, you can't do that sort of shit because you need... You can't make that sword double-edged. You have to either trust it all or not, because it's kind of like getting picky about it. It's you. Some things you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can't go like, yeah, my phone was hacked, but only the evidence that hurts me. Like,
right.
Everything you find, totally hacked. Everything else is totally cool. because that doesn't happen. Like if someone steals your money, they don't steal just the money you marked for bills and leave you with your walking around money or your like spending cash. They typically steal it all. They don't like
save you a sweet fiver.
Yeah. Like, hey, everything in my phone was hacked, and by everything I mean everything that makes me look guilty. Everything else, totally fine. Like if it's benign, it's great.
Sir, do you find it a little bit strange that when you find information that's helpful for you in your phone, you don't think there's a problem with it, but when there's damaging evidence in your phone, you believe maybe it's been hacked or compromised?
Familiar.
I do think that if someone was trying to frame me, that obviously they would leave the content that I made on the phone as well as whatever they decided to put on there. Yes.
And as we see here,
content, like he's a fucking influencer. I think the content I produce on my phone, they would leave that too.
Mr.
like,
Mugger,
there's
I'll make a deal with
1,
you.
2, 3,
50-50
4,
split.
5, 6, 7. 7 different houses are being photographed, correct?
If that is truly what was on my phone, then supposedly sure.
Okay. Here's a good example. In this image,
You have a Mark Wiener style gallery of dick pics, sir. What's up with that? Are those hacked?
there's a security camera being focused on in the image, correct?
That's what it appears to be, which...
Not to nitpick again. If I were going to, like, as a photographer's eye looking at this, I would not say it is being focused on the camera.
No, the window.
Yeah, typically people aren't going to understand the rule of thirds or the golden ratio or whatever. So just a novice off the street who's going to take a picture, you go, yeah, center weighted, focus and exposure. We're looking at the window. You say, well, you're focusing right there on the camera. It's like saying, hey, why pay so much attention to this pipe, Mr. Telles?
Brings up a question that I would have.
There's no
You can't ask me questions.
And you're going to get a chance on redirect.
No question pending. There should be like, maybe I'll make a T-shirt of like Robert Telles' head with like no question pending above it.
There you
You'll
go.
be able to say whatever you need to say. But let's be clear. There's an image that isolates on a
Architecture
security
fan.
camera.
Yeah, he's a huge fan of mass-produced garbage stucco managed communities.
The next door neighbor.
Why so
Mr.
focused on the
Garrett.
solar
It's right
panels,
there,
sir?
isn't it?
Yeah, he's a huge proponent of clean energy. Get off his back.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, Thomas says there's plenty of shit on my phone where if a cop asks me about it, it's a nefarious hacker, surely. And that's the thing. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you ever find yourself in a sticky situation where you know you're innocent, you just have to accept the fact that you're going to have to just be embarrassed about shit. Whatever your secret is, your collection of butt plugs or your furry sex parties or your whatever, and you keep in your phone to like jazz yourself up to and juice up for. Like, I would rather have a bunch of dudes with like high top crew cuts think I'm like a sexual deviant or like an adult baby or whatever, because typically none of that will come with jail time.
Right.
Now, if they go digging and you're a criminal too because of other things, price of participation may vary. But I would be totally fine with a bunch of like, meatheads going like, yeah, I saw this dude's dick on his phone that he sent to his wife. Because that's not illegal. It'll be embarrassing. Be embarrassed. It's better than going to jail.
Right.
Because if you're clear as a witness, no matter how perverted you are sexually, as long as you're not like, ending up on like an 8x10 in the back of Chris Hansen's new show.
That's true.
Just take the loss. Just be like, rip my phone apart. Prepare for my balls or whatever's on it, but I'm clean.
There's one right there.
And here was something I remember you told me about. When you started out, what was your first job again?
I love it. Give me that phone, Jameson. I'm going to run this. That's for someone else, I swear.
IT. You've got a technical background, correct?
Right.
I believe even on direct examination, you described yourself as a techie.
I went
correct?
to ITT Technical
Absolutely, yes.
Institute.
So you know your way around a computer, right?
Right.
Fair to say you know your way around different
Gotta write that
software,
down.
correct?
Computers.
Fair to say
ITT Technical Institute, associate's degree.
you know your way around a cell phone, right?
Right.
You certainly know how to use Google Maps, right?
You know what a screen is?
I think a lot of people do.
Right. Anyone can
What
use
about MapQuest? Huh? When's the last time you've been to MapQuest? You know, they're still out there.
When you
Is that
print out the
correct?
instructions, do you remember
And
to
you would
turn off
consider
the ad
yourself
and the
a very
map
thorough
picture?
person in your work as a public administrator, right?
More thorough than to do something like this? Sure.
You consider yourself detail oriented?
I do.
Okay. Can we cue over for 1 second to the overhead?
Hold on, gotta write a note.
There's over 132 images in your phone focusing on that.
That's a
Did you say that's a lot
That
of
is a
detail?
lot.
Hey.
He's drawing pictures for his mom.
Detective, you have to understand, I'm an adult baby, and I'm adult enough to admit that right now baby's scared. Baby's scared.
If that was on my phone, I guess I would say yes.
Okay.
That'll be funny. It's like, so what are you doing over there, Mr. Tejas? And he pulls up like a stick figure drawing with the stink lines, and it's like the prosecuting attorney. He's like, meh.
I don't like you.
So interested, Robert Tejas.
And then let's talk about the Popeyes thing. Publishing 364.
You like chicken?
Do you remember these images?
Yes.
Okay.
That was an easy
I
answer.
remember them being presented as being allegedly on my phone.
Alleged.
Right.
Allegedly.
The testimony was it was on your phone. You just don't believe you had anything to do with it, correct?
Again, I don't know that they were ever on my phone. I know that I did not take those photos.
Listen, I don't have DNA. I've never taken a picture. I don't know what you're talking about. Everyone knows how to use Google Maps. I don't know Jeff German.
So you're just denying what you heard.
I am saying that whatever the testimony is, that it could have been placed on my phone, or who knows.
The testimony
Right, but typically if you're going to make an accusation, you can't go, I think I was assaulted, or who knows?
was it was found on your phone, correct?
It was allegedly found on an image of my
Allegedly.
phone.
Okay.
It was, right? Someone's like clanking their iced tea glass. Oh, it's a drawing of an assassin. It's like a guy in a ski mask who's like bad hombres. Or like the two Hispanic women who took Sherry Papini. He's like drawing their mugshot.
Oh, yeah.
Classic nuh-uh defense, Your Honor. If the glove doesn't fit, nuh-uh.
Cue over to the overhead or the computer. We talked about being detailed oriented. You would agree this is numerous images from the same spot, correct?
That's the crazy thing about this. Is like, it'd be one thing to have the Google Maps images, because at least, like, let's say you're having a toxic fantasy about causing harm to someone. Maybe you would go out of your way to Google their address and sort of wallow in that catharsis for a while. It's a completely different thing to then park outside their house and like take a picture of every car that rolls past.
Seriously.
Yourself.
Yeah, right.
And wouldn't it be like, I would love once, I'm sure it'll happen. It may have happened already now that we have technology, and human errors go along with just existing. I would, in a perfect world, what we would see is like click, 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 his car, truck, van, all these pictures outside of Jeff German's house. And then just like a picture of Robert Tejas in like a pink two-piece. And his like nuts are hanging out the side of the bottom, and he's like, ugh, and like he's like, whoa, 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 and he's like,
Sorry about that.
It appears so.
this wasn't your phone
And
too.
if we kind of look, and I just can't see because of the monitor. I mean, we're looking at that's a sedan, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Sedan, correct? Well, it's like a minivan.
It's a crossover.
Gray in
It's like a
color, right?
crossover.
And that's gray in color, right?
Sure.
Do you know
And
what
that's
gray
a
is?
truck. That's kind of a whitish gray, right? Another gray car, correct?
Sure.
I say
SUV.
silver.
Another gray sedan, correct? This one's a Honda, right?
Ooh, a Honda.
Or maybe that's not a Honda. I don't want to misspeak. That might be a Kia.
It looks like a Honda.
Okay, it's a Honda
I think, or unless it's a Hyundai.
or a Honda.
Yeah, you meet the nicest people on a Honda. I heard that somewhere.
I'm not sure. It kind of looks like an H. We've got an SUV here, but there's a lot of images here, correct?
A white truck. But yeah, I agree, Thomas. Like the people who I've got that type of anxiety where like if I get accused of something I did or didn't do and it's small, like I'm a wreck. I can't imagine spending like 2 or 3 years in prison and having to like fight for my life in front of a jury and they just like coming across as so bored. Keep in mind he's had like 2 years of living in a fucking hellhole and just be like, oh, I guess we'll switch over to the overhead instead of the computer. Like, I don't want to go to jail.
They're asking you to identify cars on the road like they're
and-
security captcha.
Yeah, like okay. So where's the bird, Robert? Do you see a bird in this picture? All right, you are a human.
According to this report, if we could cue over.
Found
Just
bird
cue
in
everywhere.
picture.
Got 101, correct?
God damn.
That's what it alleges.
That's a lot of photos,
Allegedly, it's allegedly a lot of photos.
correct?
It would be.
It looks like surveillance, doesn't it?
It looks like a stupid way to do surveillance.
Right, looks kind of amateurish, doesn't
Right,
it?
you're a fucking
Right.
idiot.
Not professional.
Right.
Not professional.
Like your broke tech assassin.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see how that makes sense.
And then, sir, another thing located in your phone.
Get a glass
were
of wine.
these. Can we cue over to the overhead?
Jury.
Sir,
Sir,
what are we looking at here?
I don't know.
sort of screenshots? Looks like the blue book for a 2021 Honda Civic Sport. With a VIN number and everything.
Looks like it's a identification of a vehicle.
Oh, and it happens to be Jeff German's vehicle, and that was in your phone too? That's weird.
That is owned by Mr. Gurman.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, boy.
It's a Honda, right?
Yes, sir.
And we know from photographs earlier, his Honda is gray, correct? We saw it from the photos. Right?
I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention to the color with the earlier testimony.
You
Sorry.
have no reason to dispute
You
me
just saw the pictures, dude.
if I told you that the color of the car was gray, correct?
I don't, sir.
Okay. And we saw in those images lots of gray cars were getting snapped, correct?
Yeah, I saw a black one and a white one, and
The black one, most of them are great. What's a lot? Do you chat a lot? What's a lot? 3-4 hours a day? Yeah, I guess it is relative. Catherine Reed.
yes,
And you know what that program that's pulling up that information is, don't you, Mr.
that I do. Yes,
That's
Carfax.
IDI Core, correct?
right.
That is proprietary software that is in fact used by the Public Administration's Office, correct?
Yes, sir. It is.
It gives
Why would
the
you do
person
that?
At the Public Administration's Office the ability to
Because he's an idiot. The professional hit wasn't a thing.
look up personally identifying information about people, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
So, like, you can look at people's houses, cars, toolboxes, and airplanes.
Toolboxes.
Yeah, like, hey, so Jeff German owned a house and a car, no toolbox, no jet.
Oh.
Hey, you want to fill out all those blue icons? Want the process to just bring up the 70 pictures of Disney's Aladdin and the genie kissing and just click through them quietly.
They'll just
And we can
click
see
through
here
these to get to the
that,
next issue.
Jeffrey Guerin is being looked up on IDI Core, correct?
What I remember correctly looking at this was it was looked up by address.
Well, that's just one report, sir. Let's look at this result. We can see
What's
he's connected.
the search term?
There's no question pending, sir.
Okay.
There is no question pending. Okay, what's the search term? Jeff German.
Take a look at registrants. What's the registrant?
Again, it's Jeffrey M. Gurman.
Right. And if we look down, what's the first address associated with this?
P.O. Box.
Okay. And then we go to the next entry. What's the address associated with Mr. Guerin?
7216. It's the second one related to Mr. Gurman. There's a first one related to Mr. Gurman. That's the P.O. box, which is currently.
Yeah.
We talked
We
about
just-
the fucking what?
The
Why?
second one,
Why does he have a P.O. box in Sacramento, too? I wonder if he's like jet setting or maybe he had a mistress. I doubt it.
is 7216 Bronze Circle, Las
which is
Vegas,
where-
Nevada.
Yeah, I'm not done yet. It's Las Vegas, Nevada. 89123. There you go. No question pending.
89. I can't read this.
Mr. Telles, that's where Mr.
We
Gehrman.
know his fucking address. I can't read. Can you bring it closer? Can you bring Grandpa's old cough medicine and my glasses out of my sea bag?
Lived, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's where he was murdered, correct?
Yes, sir.
And this image of his personal information and his home address is located inside your phone.
Allegedly.
Again, I don't know that it is.
But
Okay, so we're just,
It
again,
is.
we don't have to do the dance.
Like, instead of saying, I don't believe that, I don't know that it is. That's so much more frustrating than just like denying it outright. Just being like, I don't know that it is.
Yeah.
When everybody in the court has now come to a consensus and you're the outlier going like, I don't know. I don't know. Sure. People who spend years of their life and tens of thousands, if not $100,000 on their education have come up and given their expert opinion. But what if someone slipped them a 20? I don't know that it is.
But you're just not accepting the testimony that it was located on your phone.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. But you'd agree with me that from just that bottom there, that looks like a desktop monitor, a Dell desktop monitor, correct?
Correct.
Fucking boomer move too, by the way. Like he held up his phone and took a picture.
Yep. They didn't have the
his-
snipping tool on there.
Yeah, couldn't email it to himself. He's just like, yeah, click. Like an old person trying to show their kids what they want for Christmas.
And again, this has more information about Mr. Gehrman's car,
Yeah, there's the Dell logo. Like you couldn't hit a print screen.
correct?
Yes, sir.
This is IDI Core, correct?
Right.
Software that is in your office, correct?
The office that Mr. Jappy visited, yes.
Okay. This is more. This is more IDI Core images,
Is this your
correct?
hand sanitizer down
Appears so,
here?
yes, sir.
Let me just come out and ask you. This is your desk, isn't it?
It probably is.
Oh, the what of it? It probably is. So what?
Anybody could have come taken a picture of my computer while I was looking this up.
Shots fired across the prosecutor's bow. It probably is. What are you going to do about it?
Let me ask you this.
Why were you stalking him?
During your official duties as the public administrator, I mean, you didn't have like a case with Mr. Gehrman at all, right?
It's so crazy. Like where I work for a living, people are constantly sending me screenshots of literal photographs, shots of their computer screen or of their feet or whatever. Like they'll fucking miss utterly and like aim for the computer and like it'll bounce off some dude's head and you see like a butthole in the background. Oh, dang. Like anything you could produce on your phone and whatever. Old people are crazy, and Robert is one of those people.
All right.
No, sir, I didn't.
Okay.
Great.
And what was the search term to find that?
No
Well,
question.
one of the
pending.
search terms was 7216 Bronze Circle, correct?
Can you show that to me?
Sure.
Boy, I would love to.
Wonderful. Let's do it.
7216 Bronze. We can cue over to the overhead.
I love those old overhead projectors.
This is one of those things where, like, because in Robert's mind, he knows he did this,
Right.
even though he has to lie and say he didn't. Don't ask them to produce the evidence you produced, right? Like, don't. If they ask you that question, why make it the extra step of like instead of just saying yes or no and flat out denying it, or like I forgot. Be like, can you show it to me? Like that kind of bullshit works in an interrogation room because if they say, "Oh, we got video, we got pictures, we got this, we got that," you can be like,
I
"Show
wanna
me."
see it, yeah.
Because police can lie to you. They can go like, well, we've got video and quadraphonic sound, 4K.
Yeah.
And they'll say, well, show it to me. Like, well, we can't bring it in right now. Like, it's on a hard drive. We're collecting it. You can bullshit. But like, again, we're in the collapsed waveform of Schrodinger's cat. It's either alive or dead, and just asking to see the corpse or the living cat will only disprove whatever bullshit theory you're trying to go with.
Robert takes out his phone, take a picture of the projection.
Yeah, he's like...
Can everybody see that? Oh, it's much better.
He's got a Minolta in his pocket.
So you can see that, right?
Yes, sir, I can.
And the date, the created time is 8/23/2022 at 6:05 p.m., correct?
Yes, that's what it reports to be.
Okay.
And it's from your computer, the Dell 5050 Toshiba HD Telles ID? Oh. Huh. Allegedly.
And that was a weekday, wasn't it?
I'm sure it was, because,
I'm sure it was.
There's one more thing.
Sure it was, Steven.
This wasn't converted into UTC time.
Sure you have, Travis.
So if we subtract 7 hours, that's at 11:05 a.m. in the morning on 8/23, correct?
Again, I don't know if this document's been modified by a PDF.
Not the question. Not the question. We're asking simple math at this point.
Viewer or not, but it purports to be of that day.
Do you recall the testimony? Well, no. You recall the testimony of Matt Hovanich, which said this was not converted, and when you convert it, this search was conducted at 11 o'clock in the morning, correct? You recall him saying, I'm not asking if you agree with it, you recall it being said.
I know that I didn't do the search, so I couldn't tell you definitively.
The question.
Listen, I know I didn't kill Mr. Gurman, so...
Focus on my question. Do you recall Mr. Hovanich saying that here in court?
That's what he said.
Okay.
So yes, you recall hearing him say that.
And just to be clear, publishing 351. There it is. That's a weekday. That's a Tuesday, correct?
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Great slide.
Did you typically have random people coming into your office using your desktop software?
Again, that could have been modified.
I was having a party, and my friend said he wanted to check his email on my office computer, and I let him. It's probably my friend. It's probably my friend.
A number of ways. In a number of ways, sir.
That's not my question. My question is, as the
You
public
dumbass.
administrator, did you allow people to go into your office in the middle of the day and manipulate and use your computer?
Like if someone needed to get on Amazon or Zappos, sometimes I would indulge.
I gotta order Brenda a birthday gift.
Once in a while, the janitor comes in and watches Netflix or Hulu. I'm a giving man.
Didn't happen, sir.
So the answer is, you had an edict that said you're not allowed to do this, correct?
That's my brother uses.
If I wasn't around, or
I think my roommate was on there, and there might be some bestiality stuff. I had to get rid of that.
whatever, I don't know.
I mean, you would hope as the head of the department, they would have at least not used your computer, right?
I would have hoped, but you'd be surprised what happened in that office.
Okay. Right, because of the conspiracy?
Right. The conspiracy that you believe in, that conspiracy.
Youch.
Okay.
Ah! Okay. Great.
Isn't it true? I think we've heard from both your expert and Detective Jappy that there was
people use my computer so long as they promise to send against me on my Alta Vista site. You have a GeoCities site, man?
no outgoing messages from your phone between 8:48 a.m. and 2:05 p.m., correct?
Right.
Okay.
That's another thing. Like, we're about to get into the phones of it all. And, think about that. Like, you have to, I don't think about it. If you're going to be a murderer, just don't murder anybody. But, that's something that nobody thinks about. Your phone's always on. It's always pinging. And even though when a detective or anybody asks you that, you go, well, yeah, of course. And they go, well, would your phone show anything suspicious or out of the norm? I feel like what I do is pretty much like clockwork. My phone goes with me everywhere I go, which is basically here and work, and it turns off when I'm here, so you can't, I'm here, I can't be committing any crimes, but if someone were to go like, oh, whoa, your phone was off, I go, check YouTube, bitch. But like what these idiots do is they go, well, I'll just leave it at home or whatever, and it's never happened before, ever. Especially someone in like a position of power where if you did leave your phone at home, you would have to stop whatever you were doing and go get it because you're a public official and you probably are doing a bunch of important shit.
Yeah.
So to go like, so you just lost track of it for 18 hours? It's like Dominic Skufka being like, oh, well, my phone fell between the seat and the console and I lost it for an hour and 40 minutes.
Huh.
You mentioned, or at least
Scalzoni. What's his fucking name? Nicholas. Fuck.
Kind of heard this comment about, well, maybe I was hacked. Just to be clear, you never reported to anyone that your phone was hacked prior to September.
Did you ever get a Google alert about someone trying to get into your account?
September 2nd, correct?
I wouldn't have known about it because there didn't seem to be anything wrong with the phone at the time.
So the answer is you've never reported any situation that
I didn't have
hacked,
knowledge
correct?
of whether it had been or not.
You've never reported that your phone was stolen, correct? Prior to 9/2.
That definitely did not happen.
Okay. You never reported that your house was broken into prior to 9/2, correct?
I did not. Nope.
Cool. Check.
And there aren't any text messages on your phone complaining about being hacked, right?
Again, if I was hacked, I might not have known it.
Well, and sometimes...
I mean, if you're saying you were hacked, but you definitely didn't know, because that's what you're saying, you didn't know that all this alleged evidence was planted, I might not have known it is probably the stupidest thing to say right there. If I was hacked, I might not have known. But since I wasn't, I definitely knew that I wasn't.
I don't like this guy.
We've been hacked. Some people will send out emails to people like, oh, ignore this email, I've been hacked, things like that, right?
Yeah, they're very...
Please stop sending me dick pics. I was hacked. I don't actually want to see all your penises. Thank you. Good night. Robert Telles.
Types of hacks, sir.
Right. But
could have been a DDoS attack, Mr. Prosecutor.
Nothing like that on your phone either, correct?
No, and again, that doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't hacked. Or that somebody didn't create a false image later or add files to that image later.
Okay. So, sir, I want to now talk to you about this conspiracy a little bit.
Smack him
Is
on
Rita
his
Reid in
head.
the conspiracy?
Like, literally anything could have happened. Someone could have printed out my search history and made like 1,000 paper cranes from it. Anything could have happened.
Well, she certainly took money from Compass Realty and Adam Fenn.
So the answer is she conspired to murder Jeff Gehrman?
I don't know to what extent she had knowledge of anything other than to make sure that I got taken down.
Taken down. So she conspired to have you framed for the murder of Jeff Gehrman.
I don't know that she was privy to that particular part of...
So she's not part of the...
So she knew enough about you were being taken down and was on board with that, but she didn't know to that extent that you were being taken down, even though she wanted you taken down and was actively working toward getting you taken down. But she wasn't aware of you being taken down, her greatest desire. Nice one, Robert. Keep it up. Not guilty, right? This guy's innocent.
Yeah.
He's walking the streets today, right? No spoilers, but he's innocent, right, guys?
The conspiracy.
I can't say either way, sir.
Okay, so you're not tying her to this?
I don't have any evidence to tie her to this.
Can we rule her out?
Objection, you have to be allowed to answer questions.
You gotta let it down.
Sir, go ahead. Please finish.
I forgot.
What was the question
I'll
at this
ask the
point?
question again. Can we rule Rita Reid out of your conspiracy to murder Jeff Gehrman?
I think it's weird that maybe it's not weird. Obviously, you've got to try to minimize the concern that I have with this and try to make me seem like I'm crazy for it. But there's the evidence to back up what has been occurring. So that is what it is.
So is she or is she not? Like, God damn it, dude. Buzz Aldrin, moon or no? Stage? Yes? No? Moon rocks. Maybe it's made out of cheese. Shut the fuck up.
What it is, sir.
Okay, so let's focus on my question.
Focus hard, dude.
Can we rule out?
I don't know that we can either way, sir.
Okay, so
Can't rule anybody out. This goes all the way to the top. Like I'm telling you, Barack Hussein Obamacare himself plotted with the liberals on Capitol Hill to take down big old Robert Telles, who only wanted to live a good life, fuck women who weren't his wife, and take down Compass Realty for their possible, alleged, and to my knowledge, never proven shady business deals.
So it's possible she's part of it.
I would be surprised, but I couldn't rule it out.
Okay.
So you'd be surprised about the thing that you definitely think she knew about and had a hand in?
Yep.
This is going great, Robert. I can't believe it took the jury a day to find this man guilty.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's possible.
Anything is possible.
Okay. Alicia Goodwin, is she part of this conspiracy?
Again, part of the conspiracy, sure. Part of a conspiracy.
Let me specify. Is she part of the conspiracy to murder Jeff Garriman?
I would think it's unlikely.
Okay, so we can.
This feels like the classic moon landing thing, right? Like Joe Rogan is a crazy person when it comes to this sort of shit, where you go like, the amount of people that would need to be involved in like the moon landing conspiracy would be like everybody at NASA.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe Rogan and everybody else's bullshit excuse is like, well, if you're a person who's designing O-rings, you're designing O-rings. But like on what planet would that be, right? Like how compartmentalized would you be to design a part for something you did not know the totality of? You would need to know the situation utterly, because if you are saying, hey, design this part and you don't need to know anything other than these specifications, you're just going to like hope that that is the stupidest way to do anything. You have to know what you're doing in order to engineer or create or whatever, something that'll do the job and not cost people their lives or whatever.
Right.
So the fact that he goes like, the compartmentalized aspect of these people who may or may not have known, like by the intrinsic nature of a conspiracy, you have to know. Like when they start you off at a new job or wherever else, they teach you something new. They go, here's what you do and how it affects everybody else.
Right.
They don't sit you in a blank windowless room with like a pile of paper and go like, don't bother anybody.
You do your 8 hours.
I mean, again, I couldn't rule anything out, but certainly I think it's unlikely.
So it's possible.
Again, anything's possible. So.
Okay, so we can't rule her out.
Damn.
Anything's possible.
That's what I said. I said
All
unlikely, but
Okay.
if we
Understood.
Enough said.
How about Mr.
Dude,
Cahill? Is he
frame
part of
Robert.
the conspiracy to kill Jeff Garriman?
again highly unlikely, but I
you're not ruling it
But
out.
he is dead, so I mean something happened,
Yeah.
right, guys? Highly unlikely that someone wanted to murder him, but he did get murdered. So I mean,
without
Scale of
further
justice.
evidence, I cannot rule it out, sir.
Okay, so it's possible.
Again, anything is possible, sir.
Is Thomas Monroe
with the
part of Compass
imagination.
Realty, I believe? Is he part of this conspiracy to murder Jeff
Thomas
Garriman?
Moore?
Thomas, I apologize. Thomas More. Is he part of this?
I would think that would be likely. Yes.
Okay, likely. Okay.
Scale of 1 to 10. Conspiratorial?
And Compass Realty as a business as a whole is part of this as well. To kill Mr. Garriman.
It was the
correct?
CIA, the mafia,
Again,
and Cuba.
if you recall that
Oh yeah, the Cubans. Fidel and his lineage.
the best way to take me down would be to frame me for Mr. Gurman's murder. And so
Like he's the corrupt mayor of Gotham City, lining his pockets with illegal drug money as like the Joker funnels in like drugs and guns, right? Like Jeff Gurman's like a local council member with the power to just make 8 people in his office's life shit. And that's who we're taking down. Like, it's not like, you know, the scale of grandeur. Like, that's the thing. It's like his assassin is this larger than life character. He's someone worthy of being taken down as if he's somewhere high enough to be taken down from. Like, Jeff Gurman is, you know, the big Tupperware thing of not powdered sugar, but like brown sugar you keep on the bottom shelf because it's heavy. He's not something worthy of a top shelf. He's not unique or expensive or interesting or charismatic, something you put up so no one can get at it, so the kids don't. You know, you put the flour on the floor. That's where not Jeff Gurman. That's where Robert Telles is. He's flour on the floor. You know, I'm worthy of being taken down, like he's Mrs. Butterworth up there.
You know, yes, I do believe that.
And I want to write that
She's
down.
a Fidel
You said
Castro.
the best way
That's why they were shredded.
Me out is to frame you for killing German, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm paraphrasing, but essentially that's it.
I'm also writing a book, so please indulge me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. You would agree, and I think you told this jury extensively on direct examination, what a thorn you were in the side of Compass Realty, correct?
I was, yes.
You fought them at every turn, correct?
Absolutely.
You thought what they were doing was improper, correct?
I think I proved that.
Okay, you thought that so much of their wrongdoing that you actually went to the police about it, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were, till the moment that you were stopped working in that office, you fought against Compass Realty, correct?
I believe when that order was entered on August 30th, that shows that. Absolutely.
And the issue for Compass Realty is because you were the public administrator, correct?
Right.
You stood in their way from doing the things that they wanted to do in terms of independent administrators. Is that right?
Yes, sir. And in fact, again,
Yes.
that order was going to allow me to dig into them and actually prove, without a doubt, that Detective Jaffe was just ignoring criminal conduct, sir. Yes.
This is one of those situations where it's like so white collar bullshit. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like Law and Order, Criminal Intent, where they're going over like financial crimes. It's so like holy fuck. Like, a crime is a crime, yada yada yada, and the blah blah blah. But when we get down to stuff like this, where it's like someone like Robert, who's like corrupt and a piece of shit, like going after someone who he thinks, and like, because it's such a small niche. It's not like they're because especially to my understanding anyway, like he's just talking about I don't know, improper like fees or something, or they were being preferential to who got what properties. And so like, it feels like, as much as Robert wants to feel like this is the crime of the century as he stabs a man to death in his front yard, it doesn't feel like this is like a financial crime where like at the end of the day, max jail time is like 4.5 minutes plus court costs.
Yeah. It seems like very
so
just administrative crime or like
it's
operational crime.
Like it's like cooking the books versus stabbing a man to death on the front lawn of his.
Yeah.
Hello. It's like this happens a lot too, where it's usually in smaller scale crimes where like it's the murders are revolving around drugs or whatever like that. They go, well, or Sarah did this too. They go, Eli and Kim, like he's an illegal, and they point in every direction to be like, yeah, but them.
Eli and Kim.
You said that they did something else. They also donated to somebody. Who did they donate to?
That's Reed.
How much money did they donate?
$10,000.
So they thought, and let me get this straight. This is, in your opinion, the things that they were doing cost in the millions. Is that right?
Absolutely.
This is $1 million scheme that they're running, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And all they could muster to fund an opponent was 10 grand?
No, campaign laws prohibit anything over $10,000.
So did any other independent employees of Compass Realty shell out money for Rita?
So there's, again, Adam Fenn.
Right, because that would be a great way around that sort of thing, right? If an institution can only give $10,000, why wouldn't you have a scumbag idea of just putting donations under the employee's name as personal donations or whatever?
Yep.
Like, there are tons of ways to be a scumfuck, and these guys are like as lazy as you when it comes to being dastardly. It's like, we'll put forth the bare minimum of effort, like just above nothing.
Yeah.
And also
How
Compass
much?
Realty.
How much?
$5,000 each. And so, that's
This man is 5'6", 2'5" his head.
all that they needed in order to.
So if I'm hearing you correctly,
It's got like, it's like a prize-winning county fair potato head. Like, those big pumpkins they card out with like forklifts and stuff for in Halloween. Like, this is the biggest potato Vegas could muster, and it turned out like, oh God, is it Jack Pumpkinhead from Return to Oz?
correctly, you have described yourself as the sole impediment for their multi-million-dollar scheme, and the only thing that they could come up with financially to stop you is just $10,000?
No, sir.
Okay. That's
Okay.
your C&Es that you submitted. That's all we have, right? It's like 10 grand.
That's 10 grand on our campaign contribution report.
Right,
That
that-
is not all the money that they've given to anybody to, again, to engage in this
Are you
activity.
speculating at this point?
Just generic enough to be super fucking annoying. That's just what they gave on that thing. We don't know what they've given to other things.
Right, right.
Speculatively. What are we saying, Robert? Because, like, huge amounts of money, especially for campaigns, like, I feel like probably get documented. Like, it would have to be like a briefcase under a table before someone is at least making a receipt.
Right.
Okay. Please finish the question.
Again, without being able to firsthand investigate, because
I'm not
Mr.
a cop.
Gurman was murdered and I had been arrested and been sitting in jail for 2 years, perhaps I'm speculating, but if I'd had that authority like I'd intended,
As if, like Jeff Gurman, if he were not murdered, Robert here would throw on his deer stalker and just be out investigating. That's what public administrators do. They're like the detectives of the public administrators.
Oh.
I would have uncovered the various different ways that they actually tried to, thwart me. All the attorneys.
Yeah, it wasn't just one way they tried to thwart me. These scoundrels were nefarious. So many ways they tried to thwart me. If I had the time, if I were rotting in jail for the last 2 years, I would have solved the case.
Yeah.
Attorney's fees that they paid in order to pay these attorneys who would, again, this was an
paid.
escalating situation that started basically, well, go on.
I mean, I think we're a little
You're trailing off again, Robert.
Yeah.
This is going nowhere.
far afield of my question at this
Sure.
point.
Okay.
I don't
A little
know
bit.
that that was as responsive to my question. So let me direct you back to it. You would agree like $10,000 is really not that much money. In the world of countywide races, 10 grand's not that much, correct?
In the world of county races, it's the maximum contributions for these two guys or these two entities.
For those two guys. But listen, if we're talking about, like, you
Jury.
What in the hell?
know how politics works. If there are businesses or special interests, they pool their money together behind a candidate, right?
I don't know. I just ran for public office. I'm not intimately familiar with how campaigns are run, obviously, because I lost one. I'm in jail. So, you're asking the wrong guy. Sarah Boone, if she were here, probably have an answer for you. She's a straight A student. She always
Call
knows
up
what to do
Sarah.
and how to do it. Me? I was just a public administrator who got elected. I don't know how elections work.
You don't know that, but you were.
It depends on
running for
it
political
depends on the
office and you don't know
situation.
that?
It depends on the situation.
It is that is another frustrating thing. It depends on the situation. When the situation is firmly established, hypothetically or not, where they go, if you were going to commit a murder, you would do the legwork and research.
Right.
Depends on the situation. Right. So remember the situation. You're planning a murder. There you go. You can't, like, when specific details are laid out before you, you can't go like, I don't know, maybe not. It just depends on what you're talking about. It is what I'm talking about.
Sir, are you going to sit here and tell this jury you've run for political office twice and you don't know that businesses or special interests pool their money together to back a candidate they really want? Are you really
In my defense, I was a terrible politician and I lost horribly the second time, so I feel like this is unfair.
Youch.
telling them that?
And again, I don't have firsthand knowledge of that because I've never had that happen for me.
Right.
Now, if you're talking about
Nobody gave you any money? I believe that. That's the only thing I do believe.
political action committees, I don't know, what do you?
Yeah.
Pat? Look,
the bottom line is-
subs.
All they donated was 10 grand, correct?
I think that's a mischaracterization of
Fine.
everything they've done.
Let's move
It's a
on.
miscarriage of justice.
And then
Let's
here's
move
the
on.
crazy
I'm done
part.
with you.
They won, right?
And I still kept fighting them, yes.
No, sir. You were a lame duck
Oh.
as of September 2nd, 2022. Isn't that right?
But I still continue to fight Compass Realty.
That's not my question. You're out of a job in that you're not an impediment as of January 1st. Isn't that right?
As of January 1st, but I was right then.
But I did have 8 more days to really dig into this interrogation and investigate Compass Realty. I didn't have any power, so whatever I found, I couldn't do shit.
Meh.
But I had the magnifying glass and the deer stalker in my office, sir.
There's absolutely no reason for a yellow
you're
tie
trying
unless
to
it's a
tell
fancy
us
dress party or
that
something
Compass
similar.
Realty was so upset with you.
I
that they
kind of want to
backed a
agree with you on
candidate-
that, although I do like colorful ties.
A candidate who wins.
I'm a terrible
but then they just
politician and
can't
worst
wait
murderer.
Any longer, so they murder a reporter. They can't wait for 3 months.
I would recommend that the jury watch the video and again see the time at which the order was filed. And I think you might agree that yes, that is absolutely the case, sir.
So the answer to my question is yes.
That
Compass.
So that's another thing too. Like, as we get into this, the whole grandiosity that he is presenting now has its balls totally cut off because he was voted out.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like when you're being taken down in the eyes of everyone involved, he's been taken down.
Right.
He no longer has the power to do all the things he was doing, and therefore politically and organically lost all of his power. But that wasn't enough. They needed to kill an innocent man, because that's what you do. When you really hate someone, what you do is you rope an innocent person in to take a lot of the collateral damage and possibly die, so that you can push that onto Robert here.
Right.
You don't get him fired, get him essentially divorced, and ruin his life, and then not murder somebody.
Right.
Compass Realty knows what they're doing. They hired a professional.
Compass Realty, even though they successfully backed a candidate that defeated you in a primary, they couldn't wait another 3 months for you to leave office, correct?
because I've got the authority to really crack things open then.
So here,
Yeah, right then. The first, most of my term didn't have shit to do. As soon as I was voted out, I was like, time to
I got to do work.
bring forth the power of Grayskull.
He's answering the question. These are fairly complex questions. They require complex answers.
That's the best part of this prosecution. Why did you kill Jeff German? Just to frame Mr. Potato Head. Exactly. He was already taken down. He lost everything. He says his wife forgave him for the affair, but that relationship was down the toilet as soon as he got voted out of office because they don't need to smile and wave like Mark Weiner did.
Right.
When your life is in tatters, they go, okay, now let's bring in an innocent dude who everybody respects. Jeff German was a respected member of the community, the exact opposite of Robert. So yeah, of course, when you're looking to kill your worst enemy, you find their most virtuous associate.
Yep.
Kill them.
That's the other.
You don't just shoot Robert.
finished?
I am now, sir.
Okay, so then my next question is this. If they hated you so much,
I don't think they know me to hate me, but sure.
well, I mean, they're willing to kill people over you, right?
I guess they would have hated me, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I guess. The whole conspiracy hinges upon them hating me, but I don't know that they did. Oh, yeah, you're right. They did hate me enough to kill a man and frame me for his murder. So I guess, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. The thing I just said 3 seconds ago, I actually meant the exact opposite of. Pippin.
And if they hated you so much, why didn't they just kill you?
That's a really good question. And I would like to
One of the best questions anyone could ask. Why shoot, or not shoot, why stab to death horribly a pillar of the community when, they could have just stepped on you like a dog turd on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Interesting question. Very good question, Your Honor.
to answer it. My belief as to why they did it.
Please tell me why they didn't
So-
just bother killing you.
Because if they'd killed me,
I'm
would
too
that have
powerful.
stopped Nevada State Division from investigating them? No.
It didn't stop when they,
Right.
the assassin, killed Jeff German. If you got, what?
If they killed
Maybe
me,
the killer got mixed
would
up.
anybody have felt the duty
Definitely.
to continue my work because I was actually doing this? I think so. So
I was a champion for the
murdering me
people.
would have not discredited me. It would not have put me in a position where all the work that I was doing just got left by the wayside. It would make no sense to kill me.
So your theory is that Jeff,
Wouldn't it though? If your enemy who has the power to bring you down and the investigative tools and all this other stuff, That's exactly who you'd want to kill.
Yes.
Like if there was an assassin sneaking into your castle and you're an old-timey medieval king, like you wouldn't invite the assassin in and like run off to like kill his cousin who's like a sheep farmer. You're like, what?
Garmin is collateral damage?
When you've taken into account the fact that months earlier we had this public feud, it's a pretty convenient way to do this.
Hella
So
convenient.
the guy who writes the articles that ends your career, they reward him by killing him?
Well, again, like I said, it was a pretty good way to do this.
And let's not...
Hell of a way to...
So smart.
I love a good detective novel. I love a good Lincoln and Child, the Relic series with Pendergast, one of my favorites. A lot of people get killed for a lot of reasons. Never once in any of the books I've read does someone get killed and everybody just stand around going like, why did this happen? Right? Like when you crack it open and you go, well, yeah, A leads to B leads to C and so on. Nobody kills a random anyone,
right,
in association. Like if you want to put, like if you're in the mafia and you want someone to explode, you don't put a car bomb under like their milkman's truck.
Let's not get it twisted. Rita and Alicia are part of the conspiracy that loop in Jeff Garriman, and they're in cahoots with Compass. So they're like, you know what? Thanks, Jeff, but you got to go. That's what you're suggesting?
And like I said, I don't know that...
If you've ever been in a meeting with more than like 3 people or more than one organization, you realize this is a logistic impossibility.
Yeah.
Getting like police and secretaries and realtors all in the same room or in a Zoom call to be like, time to talk about bringing down Telles. When do they have that time?
That they knew about that particular aspect of the conspiracy, sir.
Okay.
I mean, I would certainly think that they wouldn't, because you're right. I can't imagine that they would know and be okay with that, sir.
Isn't it also true that Roberta testified that once you lost, Rita Reed was actually reversing the things that you did in the office, right?
That would be her prerogative at that point.
I'm sorry, I thought I was shooting at the world's biggest white pumpkin. That's what they do out in the country.
So changes were even afoot before you had even left office, correct?
Sure.
And you even
Sure.
told us that once Rita took over, nothing came of the things that you wanted to, like none of the things that you wanted investigated were ever done, right?
I was talking about the fact that I had this investigative authority against Compass Realty that I had just gotten just a few days before Mr. Gurman was murdered, and she never picked up.
Like, what are the odds, right? Like, you're a public administrator who was just imbued with like you were like an alien came down from space and shot you with a detective beam, and now you're like the Green Lantern of your administrative office. Like, you charge up your ring and like, I'm going to investigate, and you were granted this 2 days before the murder. Like, what is that? Maybe I'm just ignorant of like what his job was, but how could what he does morph into like being an investigative anything?
Right. Yeah.
Up that torch and ran with it. And it's clear why she didn't, because Compass Realty gave her that money, despite the fact that, as you saw, sir, she, and these homes, millions of dollars in theft,
So
sir.
the answer to my question is yes. Rita Reed never followed through with the things the authority that you had, correct?
Regarding Compass Realty, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Or literally
And
anything,
just to
because
be
why
clear,
would you?
Right.
She was going to have full authority as of January, right?
Yes, sir.
And the authority could have gotten Compass in trouble, but that risk was eliminated once they put Rita in, according to your theory, right?
Once she actually became the public administrator, that would be the case. But while I was still, as you call it, a lame duck, I was still coming after them, sir.
Okay, so your suggestion is...
But like with what? Like, bad liars just hope that no one double checks anything that they say. And typically that's how it works. Because if you're not interested in the person, you're not going to double check their shit. And if it's just plausible enough. But like, what could you do? Like, it's like when you give your 2 weeks at work and you're just coasting, no one really tells you to do anything really,
Right,
or else
'cause,
they're gonna
lie.
or they're going to like grind your ass for the next 2 weeks. But like, that's the thing. All of this just seems to be coming out of thin air, and cases like this are so complex. You can't shoot down every delusion that just plays across Robert's bald head there. There's not enough time in the day to, because all these people do is, and it's almost like a honed skill, because when you're like reason to exist is to just exploit and be a piece of shit like Robert, it's like, you know, practicing tennis or bowling or any other sport. The more you do the thing, the more adept and the more you hone that skill. And that's where we are here. It's like this prosecutor is a master archer, but every time he fires an arrow directly into the center of the Robert Telles target, the targets like the Hydra split into 3, and then you have to like shoot that shit too. And he just goes, okay, moving on. Because what do you do? Because when you are sitting in front of a functionally infinite fountain spewing diarrhea into the air, you can bring as many rolls of brawny as you want. There's never going to be a plug for this hole.
Right.
Your thought is murder was the only way.
There might have been other ways, but it was
There might have been.
They didn't do it. They sure had a windfall for it that they didn't expect.
So, how did Compass break into your home?
Windfall.
To plant this evidence.
Like I said before, I don't know how it got in there, but I did not put
How
it
did
there,
they
sir.
plant the hat?
Again, I don't know how it got there, but I didn't put it there.
How did they?
Seeing as how he doesn't know jack about shit, it kind of undercuts my confidence in him as an investigator.
Right. Yeah. What?
He doesn't trust DNA. He doesn't know about pictures or expert testimony, and yet he was going to be the one to, you know, use the techniques he is denying. It's plausible.
Plant the shoes.
I don't know how it got under the couch, but I did not put it there.
Probably
How
my
did they
dumb
get your
dog.
DNA in there?
Again, I don't know when and where that DNA was allegedly obtained, so I could.
In the shoe when they took it from you.
Whatever day the
The
pictures
end.
probably say.
Say, sir.
How'd they put the images in your phone?
Again, I don't know if that was in my phone or on a corrupt image or what have
Hacking
you.
the mainframe.
It was on a corrupt image. It was somehow dark energon snuck into his phone via the dark net. You know, those damn Decepticons. They got him.
He's a Neil Brain fan.
Again, you cannot say when or where.
Everything's corrupt.
Yeah, he's constantly hacking government. Maybe he's the one doing the hacking.
Oh, yeah.
In the back
When
of a
they
Mercedes.
executed this warrant, the police, they did that also in the presence of your wife, correct?
Not exactly, sir. If I may.
Was she turned around at the time? Like she was definitely there.
Not exactly.
So,
The answer to my question is no?
not all of them did.
Okay.
And so,
No question pending. I appreciate You'll have a chance on redirect. Okay.
I did not ask if every single police officer at the station, like, how many dead people are in the cemetery? All of them is the answer. But you go, oh, yeah. It's academic at this point.
You gotta write this down. Wife. Cops.
So, let's start focusing on May of 2012. Or May of 2022. Sorry about that.
It's a Wigan
10
effort,
years
but-
prior.
Fair to say that the dynamics in the office aren't great at that point.
that's correct, sir.
Rita and the old guard are unhappy with you and the new guard. Would that be correct?
Yeah, sure.
And
Mostly
the
because you
members
suck,
of the new
right?
guard included
Sure.
you, Roberta, and Nicole. Would that be accurate?
That was just some of us.
Okay. There were a couple others.
I believe there were actually 10 folks, and after Janie retired, it was just 4 old guards, so as has been stated. So 6 of us who are, and that didn't include me either. So I guess it'd be 7 of us versus the 4 people who had gotten there before I did.
He draws everything out so much, and it's making me so sleepy. Like, just hearing him talk.
That's why, dude. That's why his attorney's on his phone for like half the trial. Like, holy shit.
You agreed to do a sit-down interview on May 11th of 2022 with Jeff German, correct?
Yes, sir.
Why did you agree to do this interview?
Because I wanted to dispel the notion that, there was any concern.
You were being accused.
Great generic shit. I wanted to dispel the notion there was any concern. All right, concern about what? Who planted that notion? What the fuck are we talking about? It's like when they go, well, like when you're in front of a detective or whatever, and they go, hey, what did you get picked up for in 2017? And you go, parole violation. What were you on parole for? Something I did a long time ago.
A crime.
Hold your fucking jacket, jackass. Why are we doing this? I get like in the interrogation room again, because that's like your make it or break it, because a lot of cases can either gain legs or fall flat in the interrogation room. By the time we're past the grand jury and you've been sitting in jail for 2 years, I say we're past that. I'm past that stage, sir.
Yeah, we're past that stage.
But tell you what, that's it. That's all I got in my heart for Robert Telles. As much as I can push through. Moral of the story is, he's in jail. He actually did murder Jeff. May he rest in peace. Worst assassin in the world.
Seriously.
And for what? Like, on the scale of like petty motives, I almost respect the like knife in the liver over $400 on the street, because that's something that can make or break someone's life. Like,
yeah.
Or not, maybe not make or break, but like that would be something that could get them through the next X amount of time with either drugs or food or whatever.
Yeah.
This was just like, his life was already in shambles. He had nothing but everything to lose. And then he goes and does this. And it's not like you're living in a cardboard box or a studio apartment that smells like someone recently was cooking meth in there, because they were. Like, luxury cars and all this shit, people throw away their shit for the most baffling reasons. Especially like, because fame and politics, like there's no scandal that will get anyone canceled 100%.
Right.
Like that one chick on YouTube who like was courting minors and then came back with like a ukulele apology. They still have fans. People like the Paul siblings. Like I'm sure KSI has fans. Like people are writing Letitia Stout and Sarah Boone trying to get in those ham flaps. Because that's just the thing. There's no way you can get around it all. So, yeah, whatever. That's it. So, Jeff German, may he rest in peace. Pillar of the community. Robert Telles, going to rot the rest of his life in fucking jail because he had his feelings hurt.
Right. Yeah.
He wrote a couple mean articles. Like, imagine, like, to you and me, it'd be like if someone tweeted mean about us and you're like, now it's time to die.
Yeah.
Like, you start putting like the predator makeup under your eyes. Shit, I got time to bleed. Anyway, thank you. You. That's the thing, Kelly. You may say nobody wants that, but I guarantee she's gotten letters from suitors, and my heart, my gut says that some of them get a little blue. Because I mean, there's human desperation knows no bound. And, you know, as much as we like to think of all the weird murder adjacent, or like the women chasing after Bundy or whoever, and you go, oh, how can that happen? There are just as many simps out there for whatever. I'm sure Letitia Stout and maybe even Diane Downs, now she's like way past her prime, but I'm sure she was getting marriage requests all over the fucking place. And that's like all the way back in the old days. Like
Taylor Shabusiness.
Yeah, like in Shabusiness especially. Like,
yeah.
You know, she was a looker before the meth.
Yep.
But like in the 1880s, like there was a number of women who like killed their husband or did whatever. And just tons, like fan mail.
Yeah.
And for what? Those are the people I want to get in the head of, because I understand being on the outside and being, I love the details, but like looking at that person and being like, I can change them. Like anybody who, all the men associated with Gypsy Rose, all those dudes feel like.
You know, Diane Downs got pregnant when she escaped prison.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because I remember she had that quote where she's like, you know, children fill a special place in your heart, and when they die, you can always have more. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but she said that fucking crazy shit.
Oh.
But yeah, she was one of the many who thought that like getting knocked up would keep her out of jail, and that never works.
No.
There are two misconceptions about two big ones that I see over and over again. Like getting pregnant will keep you out of jail, and acting crazy will get you in a mental institution.
Right.
Because you think that's better. Like Jared Murray, the guy who like took that poor kid, said he wanted to go to Walmart, and they just drove him out to a field and shot him. Like, yeah, he's not in jail because he was found legally insane, but he's never leaving the insane asylum.
Yeah.
So is that better?
Yeah. This is Super Kelly's aunt was the one in the ER when she brought her kids in.
Shit, yeah. And so she must have known immediately because her dad was like, yeah, Diane did it. We go, Elizabeth, you know where's Diane. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate y'all. I hope you found this at least a little bit interesting. I've got more on the way because, I mean, that's all these people do, right? Is they commit crimes.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll see you next time. Next episode we'll have more nostalgia if you like that. And even if you don't, maybe give it a shot. Anyway, smell you later.
Bye.
Or they try to.
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.